don't need a gym, you don't need fancy equipment. You just need, like, honestly,
need all of this.
Your body weight
need all of this.
and the will to improve, which is also what you need in trading. You guys owe us a couple of minutes. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. We're going right on over to the professor, who is in. Ooh, Zena. Zena is back. And Joey Options. Go get him, boys.
See ya.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That right there is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And it's already a decent morning here. I mean, for some of these small cap gappers, we'll get to them in a second. Some of them are on the verge of breaking out right now, so just trying to keep my eye on that. But we've got more important things to take care of. We got to do the roll call. Shout out to GTR, yay. We got Mr. Ian, Gen AI Apps, and shout out to PO. We got Other Zinc, Mark Susi, Fiddleback, Beakwetter. Beakwetter, fantastic. No. Yes, he's there. We got Esvin Riviero, Cepho. We got Kong John Nunpa. Shout. Brother Howard. Get it, Brother Howard. Do you know Brother Love? I know Brother Love. Felipe Ramos. We got Daniel B. We got Travman, Mike, Pete, the writer. Kenya Flowers, Steve Duran. We got your Huckleberry, Juan Padilla. Shout out to Chris as well. CompuCare team, Mike, the stock impaler. He is impaling the stocks. Run for your life for Mike. We got Chris, we got Jeffrey, Darren Greenplate. I like that. Susie Fox and Miami Dragon. Shout out to Fugazi Bear and Conrad Clark. Who else? We got Becky. We got Grey Worm. I love that name, man. It just reminds me of Friday. Horns, Dream Cap, Kirk D. We got KZ, David Reyes, and Roger Noonan. I hope everybody is having a fantastic morning here, Joey. It's a bit of a weird one on the general market. Yeah. You know, a little chop, a little move to the side. What do you got there, Joey? Good morning.
I mean, the Qs have been pretty good here today, Sharif, but the SPY has been choppy. There's no questioning that. I mean, it's just continuing to go higher and higher. I'm in obviously one of the choppiest Mag 7 names for some reason, but that's all right. We got a short on it earlier in the day, and I was looking for more of a move, so I did take some off after the continuous test of these key levels here. I'm like, all right, it's just smart. I got to take what the market's giving me, even though I was looking for 82 roughly. So there it is. Boom, boom, boom. We get those shorts, and then I did have the majority of my position stopped out break even, but then I just hopped right back in the exact same size. But we always have to talk about our losers as well. And that's what happened here on Bitcoin. And I wasn't going to give it too many attempts. I'm like, all right, here we go. And I went pretty heavy right here. So I'm like, that sucks. Stopped out at the low. And then sure enough, it just goes on this nice big time run. And then also RGTI, I took a couple stabs on. But this has not been fun sitting through this NVDA. I'm using NVDL as a 2x leverage to look for a move south of the volume weighted average price. But we're not getting that right now. But other than that, we enter here. We add about 33%, or sorry, 66% right there. And then boom, 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 boom. So what my losses on IBIT and my losses on RGTI here. So I took a couple stabs. One was in the pre-market break even, and then the other one was, the other two were just losses right here. But my one win on NVDA essentially eliminated almost half of all those three losses combined. So yeah, that's what I got going on, Sharif. Looking for this breakdown in NVDA, but it's not looking like it wants to. This is a bull flag type pattern, and you can see we're holding 172.57 really, really well, and I wouldn't be surprised if buyers step in and push it to a new high of the day, my friend.
Well said, sir. Okay, here are the small cap gappers. I mean, let's talk about Zena or whatever to start. So I'm in, where am I in? I'm in at 70. So I'm in at the 10 exponential moving average. That's my initial entry. But as you can see there on your chart, the 10 EMA and VWAP awfully close together. So I do have a planned DCA already on the screen there at 60s for that move into the volume weighted average price. This stock, ZENA, already displeasing me. I've seen, spread as wide as 4 pennies. It's tightening up right now to 2 and 3, but we'll see how this cookie crumbles. ZENA, not up big, guys, only a little bit less than 12%, 11.82 to be exact. We'll see if this one wants to hold up. I'm also involved here on Burns, BRNS. Shout out to Mr. Burns. I'm in at 168. as well with this one. As you can see, I've got a planned dollar cost average to defend that volume weighted average price, which currently on my chart's $1.55. I'm waiting at 57. So we've already wet the beak on this one. BRNS seems to be at 10 EMA hold, but as with all these ones, they start retracing in the more illiquid time of the day. I'll submit to you, definitely that 12 o'clock to say 1 o'clock, maybe even earlier, 10:30 to 1:30, a little bit of an illiquid time. So we'll try to catch it off key areas of technical support, and that's what I'm doing. Showing me 72s right now. I'm actually waiting at 72s, going unprinted over here as a result, of the spread. So we'll set up some beak wetters to the high side. We'll sit at 72. 74, and then 76. We'll see what we get, and we will not get upset. Shout out to my man Neil. All right, so we're going to keep an eye on that, on both these bad boys. But that's not all I'm looking at. There's quite a few small cap gappers. It doesn't feel like yesterday where we have big boy runners in the triple digits. The biggest of them all is ABVE. And you can see it's just marginally, and I really do mean marginally, ahead of that pre-market high. So it has fulfilled that first rule of mine with these small cap gappers, meaning that it has traded above the pre-market high during regular trading hours. That pre-market high was 318. The official high of the day is 335. As I see it over here, I observe ABVE to have respect for the 10 EMA on the 5, and that's how I'll plan to get in. That's my first entry logic. So 305 currently showing me the 10 EMA. On the 5, so ABVE will definitely look to be weaseling into that if it sets up the right way. But I'm also looking at some others. Again, no big triple-digit winners. BRCC seems to have one hell of a bull flag pattern over here with a flat top, possibly through 188. I'll be looking at that. I'm looking at $1.75, possibly as an entry over here because the 10 EMA retracements are getting a little worn out. That's kind of how I feel about that. Criminal is a multi-day runner, CRML. I'm keeping it up there for a possible hold. This looks like a flip from resistance to support thing over here where 440 has seen buyers for the last, I want to say, 20, 25 minutes, where 437 was that area top. So this one seems like a previous area of resistance now, at least for the moment, acting as an area of support. But there's others. Sorry to keep going over here. RYET, not a big mover either, 30% and change. Wide ranges per candle. You can see that candles have very small bodies relative to the wicks. That means even though this is making higher lows and higher highs, the sellers or the profit takers are a little annoying with this one. So keep your eye on that. Last but not least, before we send it back to Joey, PDYN up almost 25%, 1239 high. It seems to be having higher highs and higher lows, but it is losing the 10 EMA on the 5 for the first time on the day, and I literally mean that. From 9:30 onwards, we've been defending the 10 EMA. This is the first time we've actually had a print decisively below it. So the volume weighted average price on my chart at around 1150. We'll have to see if this is one of those ones where the money fills is in between the 10 and the 20. Sometimes that is the case. It's incumbent upon you to observe whether that is the case with the particular instrument. It's not sufficient to guess whether that will be the case. By placing your orders between the 10 and the 20, you're just gambling there. You're not actually building on the previous price action. So that's what I'm looking at right now. We're involved in ZENA. We're 3 pennies out of the money on that one. And Burns, we're printing on that one. That one looks a little bit more promising, Joey. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, nice look there, brother. All right, so we got out of the NVDL short here, guys. So you can see we're trying to get in at the top of the range there. We're kind of just a little bit below that. And then we do get this move back to view up, and then boop, it bounces in. The market takes another climb higher. I mean, the more extended the Nasdaq gets, the more I like it, to be honest with you. So I'm going to be patient on this one. This is some nice topping tail signals. I'll wait for one more liquidity grab to the to the top side if we get that, and then maybe I'll look for that move back towards the volume weighted average price. But again, me and Big Spoiler talking in the chat and Jag as well too. And we're like, it's really tough to stand in front of this market right now. So just don't necessarily fight things. Be patient and wait for that A+ setup to come to you. And the more extended the Qs get, that's going to definitely lead in that direction for me. All right. So higher, climb higher, climb higher, climb higher, and then we're going to be pretty good. So there it is. I think this was a liquidity liquidity grab, even though the volume is supporting it here, guys. You can see that breakout, but now we just went right back, constructed a lower high, and then now going right back into the middle of this range. And you got to ask yourself, like, are you willing to sit through this chop? One thing that I will look for is the volume to pick up if you are going for that short to the downside, right? So once you crack the volume weighted average price, you want to see the velocity and the volume pick up on the time of sales, and then you can maybe look for a continuation. I did hop out of that for a small loss, and we're kind of right back towards my entry price, but that's okay. My eyes are on the cues, and maybe I'll take one more stab at this because it's worked once, take a small loss right here on it, and then maybe we take another stab. Up here would have been more ideal, obviously, so we'll wait for that one more pullback to see what we got going on. Now, let's see what this chain is telling us on NVDA. If anything has shifted from what we've experienced the past couple of sessions, it is Thursday now, so who knows if contracts are being closed. 175, still slightly, okay, it's growing in size, so we got 111,000 there. And then I believe at 170, we had approximately 144, so about 9,000 taken off of that strike price. So that can be slightly positive. All of those are underwater, the short ones except for the 175, so just keep that in mind. And then I'm just going to be keeping an eye out just in case we want to head into 172. But it has been acting as a support level. And right at that 172 to 170, there is some substantial size on the put side with 27,000 open contracts and 57,000 at 170. So you can see why we're kind of stuck in this pinning type price action within this range. And that's what happens when you have a concentration of open interest on the call side and the put side. It pins the stock price because it's just like, okay, who's going to win the battle? The shorts, people who are hedging to the downside, and the people who are trying to cover their puts as well too. So that's why it can somewhat explain this sideways price action.
Well said, Joey. Yeah, we talk about that all the time. I love how you brought that up. All right, Bob, I promise you I'm going to get to my rules in a second. They're super simple, Bob. But I'm long ABVE on the breakout right now. We've got a good price. We got 28s. It's showing me 45s. We got size on here. I'm taking prints out here next at 48. There was a monster seller there in the low 40s. He's been removed, and the seller at 48 just got decimated. All right, we're doing it freaking live. Now we're setting up in the mid 50s. Let's go ahead and set up as well, if I can stop making entry errors over here. And we're going to set up in the mid 60s as well, low 60s that is. Let's deal with that $0.50 seller that seems to have reinstituted their short position. I'm talking about ABVE. This is the #1 small cap gapper at the moment. It is the only one, I believe, above $1 that's over 100% on the day to the tune of 107. The seller at 49s is preventing us. There we go. He's been removed. Now the seller at 50, the size getting taken out there on BATS, BAT, MEMEX, ARCX. This person just getting decimated now. Good look over here. Can we continue higher? Can we get much a high? Boom! Into 55s we go, but we don't get printed, Joey, so we'll take out that order at 55s and we'll take it at 53s. Now we're going to set up at 63s. So we got shares on here on ABVE. Let's continue to go. We're showing 58s now. 59s now. Good breakout here on ABVE. Continuing to watch for that 60 break. What I'm looking at here is the 5-second chart. As I've been telling you guys a lot, the 5-second chart has really made a difference in identifying where these micro pullbacks are and where the stubborn resistance as well as the support lie on the chart. You can spot that stuff on the level 2. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's quite transient. It doesn't hang out, so you can't refer back to it. You can get Bookmap, you can pay over $200 a month, do whatever you want to do, or you can use the 5-second chart. Anyway, doing well on this one. What do we have on again? We got 28s on, so I'm going to continue to wait over here for the next beak wetter. Let's go back to the other trades right now. Burns, we're still in the money on this one, much slower on Burns with a wider spread. Where are we in? We're in 68. It's showing me 72s. Probably going to wet the beak here at 72s just to de-risk a little bit. We'll see if we can get that print. But Zena, it's a no good. It's a no good on this one. We got 70s on. It's showing me 68s. Again, I didn't get my DCA, my dollar cost average. That's still untriggered there right at the 60 penny level, which still makes sense to me because the VWAP is, I think, at 58. So I am technically front running it. All right, Bob the dog. It's super simple. My rules for small cap gappers, they really are not that hard. If it traded, I'm talking about the small cap gapper, in the pre-market, it has to be trading above the pre-market high in regular trading hours. So if it went up to $1 in the pre-market up until 9:29 a.m., If I'm trading it at 11 o'clock, it has to be above that dollar. That's number one. Number two, it has to be trading above the volume weighted average price. That to me signals a very, very simple way of signaling whether buyers or sellers are in control. Those are the two basic rules. The other rules that I'll look at, right, are, key areas of support and resistance. You get more nuanced with it, but those are the two filtering rules right there. Now, with respect to my scanner, I filter everything lower than 85 pennies. Only the reason is because I want to know about the ones that are getting close to that dollar and volume. I put 250,000 shares from a minimum volume, but that doesn't mean I'll trade it if it's only done 250,000 shares. I just want to know about the ones that are approaching that million, because the volume can move so quickly on these small cap gappers. So I just put 250 there as a perfunctory filtering method, but I'll be really looking for a lot more in the millions. Typically, when I sit down here at 11, I won't trade anything south of a million, not most of the time anyway. So those are my rules as basic as they come. I hope that helps, and I hope you print up multiple storms.
All right, bang, 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 bang. We both hit the thing.
My bad, dude, sorry.
No, we both hit the same thing.
All right,
I hit
like
Money
that.
Storm. Yeah, I hit Money Storm as well. When you say print up multiple storms. All right, we got a lot going on. Other Zinc, you say NVDL lesson. What do you mean, my friend? It's essentially just a 2x leverage. Obviously, you can see that it's relatively cheaper compared to what NVDA is currently trading at. That's why I use it, right? So for every 1% move in NVDA, you get a 2% move in NVDL. So that's personally why I like to use it. And also, you can kind of just maximize your buying power. Yeah, Big Spell, you're right. The chip space is really hot. And then we got Go Bills. Can you give your thoughts on BTC? What is BTCL? Is that what you meant to put in there, or just BTC in general as a long term? Yeah, I'm all for buying Bitcoin long term, obviously. That goes without saying. You don't want to just go in all at once, too, right? So you just want to slowly allocate, buy into strength, buy dips, whatever you have, whatever you're looking to put in there. Start with 10%. All right, it's working out. Add another 10% of that capital. Oh, it's not really working out. Add a 15%, and then eventually you'll build yourself a nice position at some quality prices. And I'm not just saying the next day, the next day, the next day. Give yourself some time, because it obviously takes a little while for things to work. And then we'll go over the cues as someone in the chat. Mubtazam. We'll take a look at the Nasdaq. Actually, here I'm gonna do this. It means
smiling in Arabic. He's smiling.
Oh, is that? Did I say it?
Smile. Yeah, you're pretty good actually.
Mubtazam.
Not bad at all. Actually. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Not bad at all.
All right, so there we go. Next thing you know, on Duolingo, I'm on it.
Oh, well, yeah. Your friend Ram there started it, and well, we know how that went.
I could probably get farther than her. Okay, before we send it to Adara, you're looking to play the cues. What do I have up here with me? The Mag 7, right? Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Google, NVDA. If you're looking for that short, I'm keeping an eye on all of these names, right? Okay. Just because if one of them is moving strong, Microsoft, you don't necessarily want to be going against the grain too aggressively on this. I like it where we're sitting at right now. I might have missed my entry, so I'll start really, really small here on this one, but that's the game plan. We'll talk more about the cues right after we get back from Adara.
Get it, Adara.
Keep an eye here on LAZR. I mentioned this one earlier, that it is running. Well, now apparently there's some speculation that LAZR is actually providing LiDAR for the new Lucid Motors L4 autonomy thing. I want to mention the account that's saying this, I would say, is known for kind of making pretty broad-based and unproven speculations about these small cap stocks. They've done the same thing with OPEN, so be very careful. But either way, the market seems to like it. LAZR pushing to the upside on lots of speculation that LAZR is, I guess, providing the LiDAR for LCID. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara.
All right, there we go.
For that.
All right, the boys are tanking. What happened here across the board? Amazon had a big spike here.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see that volume really come into Amazon there. We know Obi's. It made me chuckle because Obi's T-shirt, Amazon,
what it say?
It's funny. So I don't know why that just made me laugh, man.
Because he's the Amazonian, my boy.
Amazon. But yeah, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, and NVIDIA just going right back into the middle of the zone. That would have worked out relatively nice for us, but that's okay. We weren't going to hold it for any move towards that high of the day. We had our stop at the top end of the range, and it just hit it there, just slightly above it as well. Nice indecision north of VWAP here on AAPL. That could be a move back into the volume-weighted average price, and you're seeing a couple volatility spikes here in the likes of Amazon and Meta there, Sharif.
All right, Joey, we're doing it freaking live. live here now on, I'm a new position, RYET. This is up 26, 27%. It tanked off $3, technically $2.99, dropped aggressively into 70. That was a couple of shekels ahead of the volume weighted average price, so I punched. But I've given my stop a little bit below VWAP, okay? Giving this one a little bit of room to breathe. I'm looking for the next, I took one quick profit taker at 77s. I'm long 74. I'm waiting at 80s, 82s, 85s. Sorry, Assassino, I totally forgot to plug in over here. That's why I didn't hear the car. Are we going to Adara?
Yeah, we're going to Adara.
All right, sorry about that, guys.
Amazon did have a catalyst that was not a market-wide news, but this seems specifically AMZN related. According to sources, I'm not seeing who reported this, but on X, I'm seeing this headline circulate. Apparently, AWS Cloud Computing Unit reportedly cutting jobs. So some AWS job cuts reported. AMZN, bit of a spike there. Back to the guys.
Got it.
Yeah, sorry. That's obviously unfortunate, as you always like to say there, Sharif, that people are losing their jobs, but it's usually a positive sign for the stock. And you can see a big-time bounce off of that volatility spike in Amazon.
Yeah, we never like to celebrate that, guys. But the fact of the matter is, let's just be very blunt about it. The market likes cost savings because it affects margins, it affects profitability. And so, yes, people will lose their jobs and the price will go up. It's crazy and ugly to say, but the reality is what it is, okay? So let me just get back to here for my RYET trade. There we go. Now we get a second print here. Full disclosure, this is a smaller position on RYET. I didn't feel like I studied it as much. I wasn't aware of, kind of its nuances, how it's trading, this, that, and the other. I mentioned that it was quite wiki, but boom, we're taking out levels. Now I'm waiting at 85. It's showing me 85 over here on the ask side of the level 2, but we are not getting the print as a result of the spread. So we'll continue to pack our patience here to see if we can get a nicer move up. 85 is the only other order I have. There, 85 goes again. Now I've got another one at 88. Let's go ahead and set up at 90s now. I'm going to go ahead and hit 90, and then I'm going to go 95. Okay, so that's what we're looking. We're doing it freaking live right now on RYET. Let's see how this one does. Let's go back to ABVE though, because we've been hanging at the $0.50 for how long over here with 59 highs, right? And we're not getting that 59 break. Somebody is selling up a storm on ABVE at $3.59, and we can't shake them. That's the bad side of the equation, Joey. The good side is we got two bottoming tail candles right now, the one that we're currently on and the one that previously closed. So we'll see if we can get, the buyers here overwhelming sellers, and we can go ahead and take that print on ABVE, and I'm waiting in mid-60s, and then I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to wait mid-70s. Okay, and the reason is because I feel maybe we can squeeze here if we can shake some of these sellers. So that's the move. Let's keep an eye out on this one. Back now to BRNS. We've got a couple of more outs, so we've got 4 outs here on Burns. How many shares do we have left? No, we still got some shares.
Right,
I'm going to wet the beak here as well, just to de-risk a little bit. We'll take out some at 71s. And then we'll let this one go. We've de-risked substantially here, so I can kind of feel easy. This one, though, Zena. It's not working out for me, Joey. We took some prints here, so we did de-risk a little bit on Zena. But full disclosure, I don't like this one. I just don't. This one is putting in lower highs. I don't know how to feel about this one. I'm thinking about giving it to prior bar low. It has held prior bar low on 5 candles in a row. That's exactly what I'm going to do. That way I can kind of rest a little bit easier. 67s. So it has to hold. I'm going to go 65s because I don't want to type in 666s. All right, so we'll do that right now on Zena, and we'll take it out there. Yeah, I know, Assassino, I'm a very, very superstitious person, my friend. I don't count 13 on my reps, okay? Yeah, that's kind of a psycho that I am.
I respect that. I respect that.
Neil's tripping. He's like, what is this idiot they hired? I'm just joking. That's cool. Thank you for making fun of me, Adair. I hear you up there. All right, so I'm keeping my eye right now on ABVE. And we're looking for a 60 break, Joey. We're having a good time, baby.
Yeah, as always, man. Yeah, no, honestly, like being a hockey game and everything like that.
Get tarot
that
cards?
Desk. Yeah.
Joey's tripping there, bro. The Chilean Nightmare just brought tarot cards, baby. I don't even know how to use these.
I don't even know how to use those. I don't even know. I don't do it, man.
Why, man? What's wrong? Why are you tripping, Joey?
Witchcraft.
Any from anyone? Anyone?
Yeah, it's you.
Okay, so I'm gonna go like this.
What is that?
Who's that guy?
Who's that guy?
Minor, King of Cups.
King of Cups.
You don't even drink, man.
All right, can anybody in the chat tell me what the King of Cups is?
You're dying tomorrow.
I'm dying tomorrow, says Ram Ram.
I told you not to do it. I told you.
Why would you say that, Ram Ram? Why would you say that, Ram Ram?
You don't do those things.
Wow,
You don't
Ram
play
Ram
those.
is just cold-blooded.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, here we go. We got plenty of wood over here, guys. All right, here we go. ABVE. We're going to take it out at 75s, guys. We took out the high of the day. ABV is on that good stuff that they only sell south of the border, not America South. All right, here we go. 74s. I'm waiting at 75s. Can we clear the 74 seller? We can't right now. I've only got one out left. So this 75 seller right here, that's going to be the end of it. DJ 2 a.m. The King of Cups represents emotional maturity, compassion, and wisdom, embodying the balance between intellect and emotion in tarot readings. So I'm the opposite of all of that, right? That kind of makes sense to me. No, I'm playing. All right, Joey, we're doing well here on most of these positions, save and except for RYET. We did scalp out here, but it does feel like this one is getting a bit top heavy with this current candle not able to make a new high.
Good look there, yeah. For all my fellow Jamaicans, you know, Duppy, no for frightened, so we don't play with that stuff whatsoever. Duppy,
That scares me, bro.
We don't want that stuff, anywhere around these neck of the woods, guys. But all right,
boy.
let's see what you got going on. Yeah, you shouldn't have done it. I told
boy.
You shouldn't have done it.
Oh, no.
There it is, guys. We're still short this. As long as we don't construct a new high here, I think we'll be all right. But I wouldn't be surprised if we have one more liquidity grab.
Look what Adara put on the screen. That's amazing. The King of Cups reversed in a tarot reading often signifies emotional instability, immaturity, or lack of emotional control.
That was not me. I will not accept responsibility for that. I
thought you had that. I didn't know. I thought you only had the powers, Adara. So apparently the Chilean Nightmare is the one that put that. You changed everything there, didn't you?
Wait, it was upside down?
Oh, the reverse.
What does that mean?
Oh, no. All right, I gotta go home. I think I'm gonna take a sick day.
Yeah, I would, man. I would. You gotta go see someone after this.
Oh,
just in
no.
case. Yeah. That was a bad idea. Anyways, that's why I don't listen. I'm a superstitious individual as well too, and that's for me. I don't put on the hockey net.
Oh.
Like so, when I go on the skate, I've never. I think I've done it once or twice.
What have you done?
Put on the net. You know how the net has to go on two pegs and like little slots?
Yeah.
I don't do that.
You
I
don't do
avoid
the
it
net.
at all costs. Yeah, I'll shoot the puck at the boards, whatever, until someone else
So
does it.
just get to the end of the matter. When am I dying?
At any moment. You
At
never
any
know.
moment.
Yeah,
Okay,
you never know.
All right, bro.
You never know. Don't bring stuff like that. This could be Final Destination Trader TV.
Oh no, he's dunking on life.
This guy is crazy.
He's dunking on life.
That is
he just went on.
crazy.
Oh my God. The Chilean Nightmare is just, he's like, look, bro, fate got nothing on me, man. All right, Adara, reel us in here, Adara, because we're getting crazy.
You know what else is getting crazy, guys? These meme coins. I was just reading here on Cointelegraph. Apparently, the meme coin sector has added almost $17 billion in token valuations in the first half of July. So since the start of July, almost $17 billion in token valuations. That brings the total market cap up to $72 billion as of this morning. That is up 29% from the end of the month. So in just about 17 days, this market cap valuation here for these coins has gone up by 29%. And Bonk coin, shown here, is apparently the leader. That's one of the biggest leaders. 72% market cap gain since the end of last month. So pretty impressive look here for Bonk coin. Congratulations to anyone holding these meme coins, and congratulations always to Michael Noss with his fart coin. Let's look at some of these other coins as well. We've got Bitcoin in this daily chart. As we've seen with Bitcoin, it makes to all-time highs. It kind of chops around a little bit, with the exception of this push above 112,000 last week. Kind of choppy. Let's see what happens. We really have not been able to get anywhere near that 123,000 that we made as of Monday morning. consolidating. I think it'd be interesting to see if we can break the previous day high for the first time since that new all-time high. But if not, we might be chopping around for a little bit. Ethereum, no chop to be found here. This is a great push to the downside. So as of June 22nd, we were trading around 2,100. Today, not even a month later, 3,400. So Ethereum, great rally here off of those lows. XRP looking very similar to Ethereum, pushing all the way from that June 22nd low of 1.9. Today we're at 3.2. So great look here. Congrats to anyone holding these crypto coins because crypto has been very hot as of late. Back to you.
All right. Joey, I got one question, brother. We know you are a very, Ram, can you keep it down? We know you're obviously a very, very crypto-centric individual. You've been in it for a long time. I got to give you credit. You were one of the early adopters. You helped persuade me to punch in.
Yeah.
But is a crypto portfolio complete, Joseph, without having Fartcoin?
It is not. It would. There would be some air left in your portfolio. Without any questioning.
Can the wind pass?
Can the wind pass? Yeah. I mean, there's other things that you can definitely get involved into. There's no questioning that. But I mean, as for Bitcoin,
oh boy.
We're starting to see about 1% allocated, even a little bit more into just standard portfolios. And I think that's reasonable, right? Even if you, like you said, Sharif, what is 1% of your complete portfolio? It's not very much. And if you start to grow and like it, you can obviously accumulate and allocate a little bit more. But as for that, 1% Bitcoin, and then if you want to get into kind of the meme coins and some of the other names, you want to break that up a little bit as well too. 0.5%, 3/4, et cetera, et cetera. Just don't go all in. Just understand your risks and the possibilities of what can happen. Yes, the reward is there, but you also have to take the outstanding risk as well, because that could possibly go to zero as you get into those meme coins and everything along those lines. Dog with hat, Aura coin, Fart coin. Yeah, they seem lucrative, but at the end of the day, there's no real value to them.
Yeah,
and we've seen it in the likes of Dogecoin as well, too. It's fun. Sorry, Obi. I was involved in Dogecoin myself in its earlier stages, roughly around, I think it was like 3 cents. My friends and I got involved in that, and then we sold it at 80 cents. But other than that, it hasn't quite.
3 to 80?
Yeah, but we didn't put anything substantial in it.
That's a 10-bagger.
Yeah.
That's more. Is that? I don't know how to do math.
No, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
That's insane.
Yeah, we.
Good on you, dog.
Yeah, we did. Well, it was a group of friends of mine. We didn't put too much. It was like we put in $2,500 total, not each. So it was like 500
That's still
each,
fantastic.
right?
Good on you guys, man.
And
I didn't know that you guys.
But one thing I will tell you is when you're investing with your friends, things can go south because everybody's like, give me the money, and you're like, hey, no, relax a little bit. So yeah, it can cause a little controversy. But yeah, just be cautious with some of these meme coins and
all right.
along those lines. So super chats here?
Yes,
is that where you're going to go? All right, cool.
Shout out to Casey. Boom! Bought ABV at $2.98 and hit the cash register. Absolutely. 375. Thank you, Sharif. You're the place. Please don't die anytime soon. Yeah. I don't know if I can control that now that the Chilean nightmare has written my fate down. And Ram apparently checked out, and I will be dying at the end of the day. So no, I'm kidding there, guys. We're having a good time. Go ahead, Joey, for the rest of the
yeah, for sure. All right. I don't understand this. I'm sure there's obviously some more meaning behind it. I don't count 2 through 9. Keep it quick. I don't understand that big spile, but I know there is definitely something behind that one there. Okay, $4.99 from Big Spile again. Oh. Please, no one do this. First person to send in a voodoo doll of Joe Fearful
don't do it,
gets a free Big Spile NFT trading card.
What a
So there you go.
Why, Adara? Why?
Don't.
For the content and the chaos, obviously.
What? That is crazy.
Adara cares more about the content and the chaos than you and your friend over here being alive, Adara, and that kind of hurts my feelings. Because number one, I thought we were friends.
I would never hope that on you, Adara.
Well, no. Okay, I don't, honestly, I guess I'm not that freaked out by this stuff. I think that's part of it. I do not want anyone to die. Friends with y'all. But then, I mean, also, it's like, this is not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. And
I really don't want it to happen, Adara.
Yeah,
I don't want it to either, but would it be entertaining if it did? I don't know.
Is that the voodoo doll?
It'd be
is where, like,
entertaining if you and
is
I
that,
died.
what's the doll called? Like where they try to make it up first?
voodoo doll.
Is it the
It
voodoo
is.
doll?
It's
And then
voodoo
like if you
doll,
like they poke pins in it to
Hold
kind
on,
of like
I
hurt
heard
the
like
people?
voodoo's not the actual scary one. That there's something else.
Voodoo.
It's
Yeah, I don't.
There's another. Okay. I realize you're Caribbean. I get it. I get it. Like there's a cultural thing there. I respect the hell out of it.
That stuff, man.
But all right, what is the poly market indicating for Sharif's health? Darwin, bro, you're the OG. Don't hurt me like this, man. Oh my God, now I'm actually worried. All right. I'm gonna have to go into the bag and get my crucifix here and keep it on the desk because we're gonna have to ward away the evil spirits. No, seriously, guys, let's. Big smile, you're killing me. Let's talk about these trades.
Banterino.
All right, Zena. We're doing really well here on Zena. I was concerned about this one in the beginning. My concerns were unfounded. This is a rounded bottom, of which I have almost the bottom there. I'm in at, 70s. I just wet the beak there into 92s. One more unfilled order at 94s. Let's see if Zena has the juice to clear 7. Gonna go to Adara in 1 second. Burns. This one just gave me a quick scare. Lost the 10 EMA momentarily. It's back up to 73, but that 74 seller still eluding or still keeping the price action below that level. And then ABVE. We're done our trade on ABVE. I'm very happy with how I executed here. It is at the high at 83. I think I have 77s. So what I'm going to do is look to get in again. And I'm going to get in again at that 10 EMA, which currently is a little bit below the 10 exponential or the $0.50, excuse me. Last but not least, RYET. This trade is going to come to an end quite soon. We are break even on RYET with the remaining amount. How many shares do I have left? I think that is going to be the end of the trade. It's going to flat bottom break. That's my feeling there. Ryan Nola, $5 super chat. Thank you very much. We'll get to it in 1 second on Big Bear AI when we get back from Adara.
Really odd team up here. Keep an eye on this news. Lyft and Alaska Airlines. So keep an eye here in ALK and LYFT. Apparently, the headline basically is Lyft supercharges Alaska Airlines partnership with enhanced mileage rewards. So apparently some mileage rewards in this interesting little partnership between ALK and LYFT. Certainly not a headline I expected today, but let's see if it does anything to this market. Back to you.
All right, let's look at BBAI for your boy there, Ryan Nola. Again, C-Dog, yeah. Yeah. Thank you, because you're interrupting the show, Ram. All right. The conversations between me and Ram go like this. 99% of the time. Ram, what? What?
I don't know.
Exactly how they go. That's the conversation right there. It's so good.
Funny, yeah.
All right, BBI looks fantastic here, Ryan. Fantastic day for Big Bear. I didn't even have eyes on this one. Where are we at here? Is this all time? No. Hold on. Let me get, no. Okay, we're back to area highs. Okay, so that's why I was tripping, because I know this one was in the 8s when we were locally high there. The local high, though, goes back to, I believe, the 8th. And the high there, guys, was 872. We have a high day of 830 right now. So Big Bear is on that good stuff again. Look, my trade on Big Bear would be super simple, Ryan. I would wait for a VWAP retracement. It's shown its propensity to really respect VWAP. Otherwise, if you don't get that VWAP retracement or you don't want to wait, Ryan, I'm looking at getting in on that 10 EMA. You don't have to complicate the matter. It's been very clear in its respect for the 10 EMA ever since reclaiming it at 1105, and every single print has been above that 10 EMA. In fact, it's getting extended from it now. So if you're gung-ho and you want to get in now, you punch in at 820s, and then you set up a dollar cost average at the 10 EMA for the add there, with my L being below VWAP. Now, if you want to add into VWAP for the second dollar cost average, that will be your decision, depending on how much size you're taking, what your account size is, your experience, your risk appetite, et cetera. I'm not going to tell you how to trade, but what I perceive is respect for the 10 EMA. My man, Havana Woody, Sharif, I don't practice Santeria. I got no Santeria. Thank you, Assassino. I got no crystal ball had $1 million and lost it all. I love when you rap, dude. He always comes with these at least like once every few weeks or something like that. Shout out to Havana Woody, one of the OGs there, certainly in the chat. Thank you for chiming in, and thank you for being funny as always, Joseph.
Yeah, Nvidia is looking like it's breaking out here, guys. So I'm on the wrong side of the Qs trade right now. We'll get involved in some Nvidia just in case it does want to play this bull flag breakout. So yeah, it's somewhat of a hedge against my own position here right now, considering I'm probably going to take a loss here momentarily. And that's the thing, right? You just have to be able to identify when it's going to be a strong trending day. This market is going absolutely insane. I'm pretty sure it's a new ATH here on the Nas. So it's just like, all right, you don't want to stand in front of this stuff. So it's unfortunate that we're going to take a loss on this, and I apologize, but it is what it is. We got to take those stabs and look for those moves. I think tomorrow, if we go on another big time run, then we'll have the ability to kind of just pull back and maybe get that move towards the volume weighted average price, or I might just be slightly early. So yeah, just small hedge against my own position here in the Nasdaq short, going long NVDL. If one doesn't work, then we'll kind of offset the other because, right, we're long one, short the other. So there it is. We're getting a pop in NVDA as soon as we hold above this high of the day. So there it is. We're in a new ATH in the all-time high on the Qs here. Let's pull up the 5-minute. Yeah, so once it holds above this level, then it's just like AC Slater to that. You don't want to continuously try. Another solid leg up, and then I look for more indecision. That wasn't the most powerful signal, right? Even if we go on the lower time frames, there was nothing really there saying, hey, we're ready to completely turn around in PA. So there it is. Holding up these lows. I tried to get in at the, well, I was in at the top end of this range. We don't get much of a move to the downside, and I added approximately here. So this could be just another liquidity grab. Whoever has their stop just above the highs, then, you know, it's like, boom, we'll grab those out, and then we'll slowly turn around after that. But again, that's just the name of the game. Slight intraday hedge. Don't do it too often, but once in a while I'll do it just to kind of cover and mitigate some losses. So if one really starts to work out and the other one doesn't, then that's fine. You cut the one that's not working and obviously hold on to the one that's working. Thanks for Captain Obvious, but for that one, but that's essentially what I'm getting at here, Sharif. So long NVDA, short the Qs. Let's see which one comes to dominate trade here.
Yes, absolutely, sir. All right, guys, ABVE, 383 high. It's now pulled in to that 350 area, which also happens to be the 10 EMA. So it's kind of make or break time for the pullback traders right now. Can the pullback trade, or the retracement traders, I should call it, pullback, probably not the right expression there. So what I'm watching for is respect for the 10. We've already lost the $0.50 by about 8 pennies, maybe even more, but we're at the 10 right now. Do we lose the 10 or do we find support here? Let's continue to watch. Now, that's the 10 EMA. Right, which may or may not be respected at any one point in time. What I'm really keeping my eye on here is not just $3, but this 320 area reject, area reject, area reject, and then on the fourth time, not the third time, you take it out. And that's where I got in. That's when we got that break of $3.20. I said that buyer there that was selling, that was keeping everybody down at 3 1/5 is gone. They've killed him. And now I'm taking the long there, and that's where I got in. So let's see if that 320 area gets retested again. We're below the 10 right now. We've wicked below it. So that's what I'm continuing to watch, and let's see if we get something in and around there. I don't have to be first. If it's gonna hold up at the 10, my thesis would be that we hold up at the 10, and that's a higher low, and then we take out that 383. That doesn't have to happen, but that would be my thesis there. So let's keep an eye out on that. Let's go back to Zena. Where's my Zena trade? Okay, so we just took out my 95 sell there on Zena. We're long at 70s. How many shares do we have left on Zena? Okay, we're good. We're gonna set up now at 99s, and then I'm gonna set up above the high of the day. The high of the day, guys, 705. Your boy's setting up at 707. So let's see what we get there with Zena. One last quick look here at BRNS. I don't know, man. I don't want this one to burn me, Adara.
I hope it doesn't, Sharif, but let's take a look here at AAPL because our friend Ming-Chi Kuo, noted supply chain analyst, shared a new post. He's basically commenting on an announcement that came earlier today from Biotech. I guess they announced they're going to be investing some money to support the growing foldable device market. This investment period is going to start from today, and it's going to end January 20th, 2027. So Ming-Chi Kuo basically opining that this does confirm his predictions that Apple I guess it has stricter crease-free requirements now for the foldable iPhone. Because of that, it's going to actually accelerate the adoption of laser drilling for the display metal plate production. So again, also apparently Samsung will now be, or he predicts anyway, that Samsung will also be adjusting in tandem so they can compete with the foldable iPhone. So they're going to be pretty much neck and neck here. The last prediction that he makes is basically that fine M tax investments related to the foldable iPhone are not yet complete. So Ming-Chi Kuo is expecting some further investment to summarize it all, and he's also expecting that Samsung and Apple are going to be neck and neck in terms of the developments that each company is doing to compete in the foldable phone space. Back to you.
Fantastic, Adira, but like I'm really surprised that he's not talking about Honor and Huawei, because I don't know, like obviously they're not really sold in North America en masse, but those guys are just light years ahead, man. Has anybody seen the triple folding phone from Huawei? Sure, there are some drawbacks. I heard, it gets a little flimsy at the end, but the screen quality is insane. You don't see the folds. It's a 3-fold, guys, so it literally unfolds into a tablet. So it's really interesting there how we don't really talk about these Chinese products in the same way that we don't really talk about Chinese EVs disrupting North American markets, because they've all been blacklisted in North America, especially when Donald Trump 1.0, remember when he put Huawei on that kind of, I don't know, banned companies list. I forget exactly what it was placed under, but basically he cut them off from getting advanced chips, and that's why when they dropped the 5-nanometer chip last year in the Mate Pro, everybody was shocked. But yeah, we talk so seldomly about how good these Chinese electronics companies are, and Xiaomi, one of them as well. So super interesting there that he's looking at the battle between Apple and Samsung as opposed to, some of these Chinese companies.
Yeah, absolutely there, Sharif. All right, guys, so this is like the point of an intraday hedging. Sorry, Sharif, I'm hyper-focused here.
When so can I focus on something while you do your thing? Because I told somebody I'd look at game for them.
Yeah. So you need a couple of seconds?
Yeah, I know you're busy trading.
Yeah. I got a boatload going on here, guys. So this is essentially what an intraday hedge can do for you. You can see this is working out, and the TQs are slightly squeezing up here. Microsoft is on one today. It is going absolutely insane. So here it is. Essentially, like, we'll call it, I'll be obviously full disclosure. So essentially what's happening on here, I have half the size of the position that I have going on with the TQs. So now as this climbs higher, I'm getting appreciation in Nvidia. So essentially what I'm at is, if I close both positions at the same time, I endure half the loss regardless of what it is. If the TQs start to work out in my favor, I can lock in half the amount of profits of what I'm going to lose. So that's essentially what I'm thinking. Microsoft is just going insane, and if I pull this thing up from a daily, I don't know how sustainable this is. Like, for me, it's hard for me to wrap my head around it, and Adair and I were talking about this the other day, but you just have to go with what the price action is telling you. Okay, it's telling me this. It's continuing to climb higher. But this is not sustainable. You cannot tell me otherwise. Microsoft will not continue in this type of trading. Eventually, it will come and it will pull back, and the chances of it pulling back are going to be more aggressive than what it has been on the top side, all right? So you'll just have one of those massive days to the downside, and you're like, what is going on here? So in my opinion, cash-secured puts are the way. I would not be buying.
Insane.
This is what I'm getting at.
That's insane.
It's not sustainable, right? Jeez. It can continue to go.
What?
But at some point, it will pull back. And when it pulls back, I believe it's going to be aggressive. Can I be wrong? What? Absolutely. There's no questioning that I have the potential to be wrong. But where have you seen price action like this?
Where?
Sustained. I personally haven't. Sustained without having something aggressive to the opposite side, right? Like if you go on these moves, okay, boom, here it is, September of 23. You go on this year and a half bull run from here, and then what happens from the peak? You essentially retrace 27% off of that. And I mean, this is over an extended period of time, but look at the short period of time after the previous earnings report, how much we've climbed. Thanks for embarrassing me. Appreciate that. Okay, so that's not going to work. What I wanted to do, there it is, 20%. All right, so you have this bear market, you pull back 27%, and then now you're up 20%. Keep an eye out on this name, because eventually I think it will top out, and just look for potential short signals as well there too. Or if you don't want to chase it, you don't want to go short, buy those cash secured puts, and I'm sure that's going to bring you in a positive direction there.
All right, Anthony, I told you I'd look at games. Sorry it took me some time to look at GAME, but let's do it right now. So we're going to start here, Anthony, on the daily chart, just so we can kind of get a feel for things. So this is the daily. Let's zoom out. Let's go to the weekly, because I just need to see highs and I need to see ranges and stuff. Embarrassing. Okay, so we're coming from COVID highs. Everything was inflated, and then we got the sell-off of 22 where everything sold off. This one game, that is, got a nice bump there in 23. Mid-23, it made local highs into about $9.50. Since that time, though, Anthony, it's been sell, 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 except last week. Last week, it had a breakout week, reclaiming that dollar. It was not a reverse split. This thing got to $2, almost $3. It ended up closing out the week, Anthony, though, south of 2 at $1.70, but respectable. Look at this week. We don't necessarily wick higher, so we don't make technical higher highs, but I liked how we're definitely maintaining our higher low. That's really important. So that's for the weekly. Let's go ahead, look more micro now at the daily. Let's see, we get a zig and zag, obviously. So you get a couple of big days, outsized days, you get a couple of pullbacks, and then you get another couple of days to make new highs. So we could be bull flagging here, right? With this initial move here on July 8th, and then continued into July 9th, into that 287 pullback, kind of within a range. It seems like the closing prints are kind of defending that $1.70, but staying below that 2.25. So maybe a 50 penny range, 175-ish to 225-ish for closing and opening prints, not the wicks, obviously, right? Now let's look at the day, the intraday, 5-minute. So we had a good day yesterday with some higher highs and higher lows, and we lost VWAP at around a little after noon. This one, this was the flat bottom break that I tried, that I told I didn't want to get Neil, I didn't want to bother Neil to get me shorts, but this ended up flat bottom breaking, lower high with VWAP there as support, and then it dropped nicely to about 215. We're selling off some more today, Anthony, though. Basically right at the open, right at 9, excuse me, the sell orders started coming in. So the good news is we haven't broken Friday's low. Tuesday's low. Tuesday's low there is at $1.40. Definitely looking for that $1.50 hold. What I'd like to see are some higher lows. You're not going to get higher highs every day, but what I'd like to see some higher lows, at least on a multi-day time frame. Yeah, look, I don't know too much about the company. What the hell is it? Game Square Holdings, $73 million market cap. The vertically integrated digital media entertainment technology company connects global brands with gaming and youth culture and audiences. Great. What are the technicals on it? Let's go ahead and look at trade ideas. We got a 31 million share float, Anthony. Not too bad, small, with a short float of only 3.5%. So that's not too bad. That doesn't mean it's heavily shorted. But when you look at some of these, weeks here, I'm surprised that it only has that much of a short float on it. So, yeah, let me know how it goes, brother. But definitely a breakout there, breaking above the 50, et cetera, and maintaining itself above the 50 on the weekly time frame. Shout out to you. Before we send it back to Joey, I just want to remind everybody, guys, that it's super easy to vote. Shout out to the Chilean Nightmare, man. He made this. Right now, we got 59 mentions for AMD. Second place, Big Bear AI at 54. And then look at this, 41 for Open and 44 for Lucid and only 37 for Unity. Now we're seeing some people vote. Get into that chat, exclamation point. Sorry, not exclamation point. Wow, that takes me back. It's the $sign. Throw in that $sign, your 3, 4, or 5-letter ticker automatically registers, and as you can see, we can see what the top 5 are, so we can show you guys which ones are making the moves here, and then obviously you guys decide. So when we get up on this green screen, you guys, we talk about what you guys want to talk about. All right, Joey, before we send it back to you over here, we're doing it freaking live here on BRNS. We're waiting for 77s. It's showing me 77 on the ask side of the level 2. Alas, it's 73 on the bid, so we won't get printed until it crosses, but I'm looking for this one to break and take 77s. How's my friend Zena doing? Okay, so we got the 95 print. We hold the 20, so we make higher lows. I'm setting up at 99s, and then I'm setting up above 7 at 707. Let's see how these trades do. Packing my patience on both of these. And then last but not least, I said I'd get into ABV at the $0.50 if it held the 10 EMA. I lied. It held the 10 EMA, and here it goes again. Back into 370, showing me a seller here of note at 70. He's getting taken out. 71, 72, 73. Here we go. ABVE headed back to $3.83. Maybe. This is the high of the day.
Maybe, just maybe. All right, guys, let's take a look at the top performing sectors of the day. In our first place, we got the tech sector up about 9/10 there. All right, guys, so take a look at the tech sector, XLK. Industrials in second place up about 6/10 there. Take a, I believe it's XLI. And then financials up about 0.5%, a little bit closer to 6/10. Look at XLF if you're curious about where the strength is. Now let's go to the bottom three. That is going to be the communications service, down about 1/10 there, guys. Real estate down about 1/10. Healthcare, roughly the same thing, or sorry, 7/10 there, I should say. On the healthcare sector, that is going to be XLC, XLRE, and XLV, if you guys are curious. But please, nonsense, don't spam the chat. You can only vote once, I'm pretty sure. Your vote only counts one time, and now that is lunchtime, the lunchtime bell, guys. All right, so that is your top performing sectors of the day. We're still sitting in both of these potential.
King.
All right, King, yeah.
King, you're gonna get banned, brother. It's really about you either stopping or you're out. Choose which one it wants to be.
I'm kind.
Go.
Go
ahead, sorry to interrupt you, Joe. That's it, you're done, bro.
5 minutes, 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
I'm kind. Yes.
Okay, Xerxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that one.
Yeah.
I'm a kind guy.
I'm kind. But yeah, that's what we got going on. All right, so you can see we're starting to get this pullback here in Nvidia, and with that, the market might start selling with it as well too. But keep in mind, Google looks like it wants to break out higher, and Apple. So keep an eye out on these Mag 7s catching somewhat of a bid. Then we might have to hop out of this trade. And I don't do that kind of that hedge position very, very often, but when I do, it's just kind of to see how it works, how you can mitigate losses, et cetera, et cetera. So a little veteran savvy move that I learned a while ago.
Neil, Micah Parsons chiming in on Jerry Jones. I'm going to read it. Dallas Cowboys pass rusher Micah Parsons called out team owner Jerry Jones for impeding progress on a contract extension. He wrote as follows. We obviously wanted to get it done early. We want that relief, but obviously ownership is always going to make it drag out, make it more complicated than it has to be. Parsons said on WWE legend The Undertaker's 6 Feet Under podcast, lack of communication and that standpoint. So there we go. So he's entering his final season of the contract. To play in 25 under the 5th-year option. He's worth about $24 million on that 1 year. He's obviously the 2021 first-round pick. And I would say, Neil, would you put him top 3 pass rushers in the league? Easily, yeah. I agree with that. So pay the man.
Pay that man his money.
Pay the man, as my friend Primetime likes to say. Pay the man. So that's a little bit of an obstacle, obviously, for the Dallas defense this year. So we'll have to see what he has to do. Marco Hernandez, Jerry needs to retire. Yeah, bro, he really does. He really does. I think that, he's...
So I have opinions on this because
I want to hear it.
Cowboys cheerleader show. So here's the thing. Yeah, I know I can't.
I love it. I love it. Go ahead.
Like they do have the Joneses there, so it's like the question: if Jerry steps down, does Charlotte step up? And what does that mean for the league? Because there can't be that many female team owners, right? So I'm kind of curious.
That's interesting.
As to how that goes.
No, that's actually really interesting because she's very much involved in day-to-day, Adara. So yeah, well, I think he likes to incorporate his kids, right, in the day-to-day operations and things. I mean, I wouldn't mind that if I had an army of children. I want to put them to work.
Absolutely. What do you think?
Them to work.
You think it's free around here? What do you think this is? Come on.
You even got a chuckle out of Assassino, bro. And assassins don't smile at that much.
Yeah,
Right?
you know what I mean?
No, seriously though, like I don't want to say you can't trust other people. But, I can lay into my kids probably a little bit more than I could lay it into an employee. You know what I mean? I'm going to let you know exactly what I think.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Way harder.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just more natural.
It's just how it is.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, that's how it is. Obviously, if I could put Milo to work, I would already. Just got to start paying rent.
Midnight. Yes, Bears versus Bulls. Everybody's favorite. Mod had to take a bit of a time off, obviously. Not sure if he's going to be returning. We miss him very much. Shout out to him. Obviously, yes, but we are doing the mod as well. As you can see, we threaten people all the time to block them and to ban them. So we're trying to pick up the slack as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, right.
Shout out.
We can try. We obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, this is what I got going on here still. So Q's just continuing to climb higher. Apple catching a big time bid. As you can see, it's starting to break out through some of these lows here. So we just got to keep an eye out on. I'm not going to hold this and just let it continuously go against me, obviously, but I'm just sized accordingly to allow myself to hold it for a little bit longer. So yeah, we'll be patient on this one. If Microsoft wants to continue to be strong, and then you can see Apple start to grab a little bit of a bid, then we'll just hop out of that trade and then look for something else. If not, it may not be my day as well too, right? So I don't want to continuously force something, nor do I want to ruin a week just because I had one bad trading session. Adair, what do you got?
Bang.
Here is the market. Oh, I typed it in wrong. We're going to look at the QQQs. This is the Nasdaq. Nice, beautiful push to the upside. We broke out of that, I guess, sort of a double top around that 560. Since then, it's only been smooth sailing for that Nasdaq. The S&P 500 here looking very similar. Tons of earnings on watch today. We'll get to that in a second. But Amazon actually did have a little bit of a catalyst. If you notice this push to the downside and then quick recovery, basically, I'm seeing some reports. Apparently, they're going to be laying off some people in their Amazon Web Services cloud unit. Then we have Pepsi, one of many earnings names today, much like the market that seems a little bit poised for a breakout. We'll have to see if this breakout comes. You also have crypto names like Circle, Coinbase, and MSTR on watch as we await more progress on Crypto Week. But before sending over to Neil, and as always, exciting lesson of the day, we have to take a moment to thank our friends at Top One Futures. Are you looking to trade futures like the SPY, NASDAQ, or even Bitcoin? Because Top One Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there. They give traders the chance to trade up or manage up to $1 million in capital. All you have to do is pick your path, instant fund to Challenger Pro account, and start trading your way to real payouts and even a live account. In the last 90 days alone, they've paid out over $10 million, and they've earned over 1,000 five-star reviews from real traders. Use the discount code TTV to save on any account, and just scan that QR code or head to top1futures.com. That's top1futures.com, code TTV, and start trading towards your next payout. Neil, lesson of the day. Take it away.
We love earnings season around here. Well, traders love earnings season in a general sense. One of the reasons you love it is because you get to have volume, which we like, volatility, catalysts, stocks that are making new ranges and not doing the same thing. Not that it's bad if it does the same thing it does yesterday, because you can range trade or just trade a pattern or trade a continuation. But sometimes you just get some really awesome setups. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing bad about today having missed out on Abbott Labs and Pepsi to trade some other things that were in play. I mean, Tesla moved pretty nice. There's lots of things that moved well, right? But two earnings names, one up, one down, kind of gave you some really perfect opportunities, I want to say. One was Abbott Labs, poor guidance. Well, you guide poorly in this market, you get beat up. It was already gapped down. And I find if it does something obvious, you really want to be in it. Once it lost 130, like what is there to look at? Right around here, underneath 128, with this wicks 127, so 127 to 128 is a pullback into the next support level. Or you're looking at essentially the 200 period moving average at 25. What does that look like this morning? Well, two things. One, it pulls right into that, doesn't get to 28. At the open, fails 27. Okay, well that confirms the resistance spot there. So you want to be short. You could play that in two ways. You could just be short into that, or that other level, 25, instantly continuation through VWAP at 25. And it gets even better because once it's beneath both of those, you can take the short under 25 by using the pre-market low. It wicks right into pre-market lows and continues lower. Bad news on earnings. Fails to come back, resistance turning into support, support turning into resistance, continuation trend trades galore on Abbott Labs. And look, this is a name that moves around a bunch. So you're not surprised when Abbott is down 8%. You're not surprised when it gets a little bit more juice throughout the day. However, I would argue a lot of people might be surprised when Pepsi continues and is up 7%. But sometimes it's just like that. Wrote it off. At the end of the day, sometimes you've just got to look at something that might be different because it is in play. You don't normally trade Pepsi. Most people probably don't normally day trade Pepsi. I'm going to go on a limb saying that, but I'm like very certain that it's true. And it is so clean technically where it's breaking out from. So why wouldn't it have some continuation? 140 forward is now, 147.5, which I said it had no chance of getting to. Who knows? Maybe it does. What does it do at the open? Instant, like you might not have this trade because right at the open it shoots up. Well, fair enough. You're not going to get that trade. Well, what do we like for a trend up that has room to go? A pullback into the volume-weighted average price. That is exactly what it does. If you ever see something that is in play, that gives you a textbook setup, that's a simplistic one, and it's already doing the volume you want, you're in the direction of the news, in this particular case, how the market is perceiving the earnings, which is a gap up and a trend up. So it's got everything that you want, and it's simple. That's why the watch list is out there every single day. That's why Dara does the work to make sure Abbott Labs is in there for you and Pepsi's in there for you when they normally wouldn't be. Right? Like you'll never see you will literally never see Pepsi at all. But today it gives you a nice upward trend. Is it the strongest stock? Okay, fine. You'll find a small capper that's done a bigger percentage. I guarantee you will. But trading this to the long side is probably cleaner than a heck of a lot of Mag 7 names that we've been looking at. Like Tesla's all over the place. Like Tesla was a good long for me, but it's been all over the place. This has just been up, up, and away. Even if it's a small trend trade, what's wrong? That's almost $2. We celebrate $2 around here on moves like that all the time. So you've got to be looking at, in earnings season, every now and then, you're going to be pulling out a name that's not on your normal radar. And you just have to be willing to do it. Why? Because the patterns of in-play stocks can come back and show you the way. So whether it was Pepsi or Abbott Labs, make sure as we get into more earnings that we're going through that watch list, going through the diligence of figuring out which ones look like they're going to be in play, doing exceptional moves like Pepsi and Abbott Labs, and giving them a shot, because that's what's trading about, is being in the right place at the right time, and then having a plan of action. There's your lesson of the day. And I have to admit, just to go back to Shreve, because he was talking about Parsons. Parsons is a phenomenal player. I just believe the guy. He'd just pay the guy. Like, it's the way the NFL works. We all know how it is. If you are at the top of your position and your contract is coming up, you know what the last guy got paid, and that's what you get, or you get better. And everybody knows it, and there's always this big dog and pony show, and then he's eventually going to get paid, and we all know it. But I don't understand why it has to be so complicated. Oh, I know why. Because they don't have guaranteed contracts in the NFL. So because you don't have guaranteed contracts in the NFL, what ends up happening is players have to do the whole holdout game, and then fans are like, yeah, well, you have a contract, play for it. Well, it's not a guaranteed contract. And if at the end of the day it's super easy for the owners to just get rid of the guy, even though there is a contract, then why are we complaining about them honoring it? If the owners don't have to honor it, then why should the players have to honor it? And it's a bunch of nonsense. You don't see this holdout crap in baseball because they all have guaranteed contracts. That time is eventually going to come, and I guarantee you they take less money for guaranteed contracts across the board. That being said, everyone's printing money, and the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. Back to you guys.
Look, Neil, I will cheer for the Bills in the AFC this year. I will cheer for the Bills in the AFC. I like the Jets as well, but I know that they are a division rival, so I will not say any more about that. But look, man, I mean, I don't know how you grew up, but around these parts, obviously, we don't have an NFL team. Mm-hmm. So a lot of Torontonians grew up as Buffalo fans. And until like the late 2000s, we had a regular season game at the Dome every year. But it wasn't really well subscribed.
No, it wasn't.
Because the Bills sucked then. Guarantee you, they do those Bills games at Rogers Center now, they're packed. They're 100%. Packed. Everybody's coming to watch Josh Allen.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of crappy.
The last one that I remember was the Bills against the Falcons. Yeah, I think that was one of the games that they had at the Sky Dome, I still call it that. But there it is. CFL Winnipeg Blue Bombers for life. Yeah, shout out to the Blue Bombers. I like them over there. And Super Chat. Oh, yeah, let's go Super Chat. I'm out of the TQs, by the way. I'm not going to go against this. The mags are ripping, and that's what I'm talking about, a slight hedge, right? So I got out of this trade. The risk to reward wasn't even there anymore. Even if it came back, it's like, what am I going to hold it for when the bulk of my position is sitting in this consolidation? I'm not going to hold it all the way to here just to get break even. If it doesn't break down to VWAP, then it is what it is. But Nvidia working out for us here now too, guys. So maybe we'll add into this one. We want to make that winner. But that's the whole point of that hedge game. Even though I've realized this loss, if I were to just realize the gains on Nvidia right now, it would just cut that in half essentially. All right. So that's just a little trick of the trade that I learned. You don't be doing it. Doesn't work all the time. Don't get that twisted. I'm short the overall market and long a specific name. But just keep that in mind. Super chat. Yes. Let's go to that one, fan funding, and we have local brother 07. What's up, brother? Mad respect for this channel. Your thoughts on the current run with Rocket Labs? All right, yeah, it's just doing Rocket Lab things. Let's take a look at RKLB. RKLB, doo-doo-doo. Okay, starting to pull back a little bit here as well, guys. Keep that in mind. Go NVDA. Shout out to Hedging, Intraday Hedging. You know what I mean? Hey, Obi, I know you didn't know that one, but there we go. Rocket Lab has been an absolute monster move here. 31.20 all the way up to 53.40 currently, even a little bit north of that. But this is a big time move. Again, do you want to be chasing all the way up here? My answer is going to be no, right? Like, so what do you want to do? If you really want to get involved in this and you want to get into 100 shares, that's the thing about cash secured puts. And sorry, I always go back to like options references, but I think this is the way to get involved in this. It's dual benefit, all right? So, one, you sell some cash secured puts, you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna put those a month out, I'm gonna collect a little bit of premium. Let's actually do it right now live, Sharif.
Do it live, baby.
Let's do it live, to be honest with you. I'm gonna pull up Rocket Lab, and we're just gonna do a live scenario of what we can possibly do here on Rocket Lab. Say I wanted to own 100 shares of this.
Okay.
All right? So let's get involved in this, and I want to go to a further expiration cycle. We're gonna go to August, 36 days away from now. I don't wanna own it at the current price that it's trading at right now. I want to own it for about, let's say, $44, all right, or $45. Okay. So what can happen here is that I collect $273, all right? Now, it's either it's going to come into this target, and now I'm the proud owner of Rocket Lab at $45. Or if that doesn't work out, well, guess what? Congratulations, you just pocketed $275, all right? So when you allocate, when you get assigned those shares, okay, it's those shares minus the premium received, that's fine. So you're out $275, but you own it at the price that you want to. And if it doesn't go there, well, then guess what? You just collected $275. Okay. It doesn't work. You go farther dated again. You go 36 days out, and you sell the exact same strike price for a little bit more premium or the exact same premium, and then you collect it once again until eventually you get assigned. And then that way, it's like kind of the beginning steps of the options wheel where, okay, now I'm assigned. It starts to appreciate. Oh, I think we're well in the money, but I don't want to sell the shares. What do? You start selling covered calls. Okay, you get a sign on those. Well, congratulations, you just sold your shares for a profit as well, too. That's just a small rundown on what it exactly is, and that's what I would be doing in this market instead of chasing all the way up here, Sharif.
That piece of crap, Li Auto, is up 7.5%. NEO is up 7%. And the Monster XBEV, which has been outperforming both of them, is only up 2.5%. What's that Monster BYD doing? BYD is below $100 still at 95 and 30. I'm talking about BYDDY, guys, on the OTC market exchange. Just having a quick look there at my side chart, my side watch list over here to see what's moving, you know, other than small caps, because, well, the small caps are drying up. So I just added into this position here on BRNS. We're almost exhausted our shares. So this one did pull into the 20. When it pulled into the 20 over here, it found support. So I punched in at 71. But guess what, Adara? Anything below 68, I'm out.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there, Sharif. I do want to talk about a story I know you and I especially have been following, but I think a lot of people, Meta, and it's AI hiring situation. So we're gonna basically explain this. There's an individual at this company by the name of Connor Hayes, who is reportedly, according to Axios, just been appointed as the head of Threads. Now, this is particularly interesting because I just went on his LinkedIn to do a quick deep dive on Connor Hayes before doing this throw. Now, prior to his, I guess, being now appointed to lead Threads, for the last over 2 years, since April 2023, he has been the vice president of product in their generative AI stream. So this seems like maybe another push for CEO Mark Zuckerberg to move employees out of their AI sector as they prepare for their super intelligence unit. That would be my best guess anyway. At the very least, it's interesting that he comes from the generative AI stream of things and he's now moving to lead Threads. For the record, he's been involved in Meta or Instagram for quite some time. He was the director of product management at Meta for 2 years. Then he led Instagram product management. Then he became VP product here for generative AI. So he's been with the company for a long time, but the timing of his move is pretty interesting when you consider this super intelligence unit being built at META. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Joey, I just want to mention, I'm in a new position. Beam, B-E-E-M, up 30%. I don't want to say it's a trade de novo, but it really only started moving at around 9:30. I didn't have eyes on it till now. It's been respectful of the 10 EMA. The 277 high on the day. It pulls back in, generally holds the 10 EMA on the 5. So I punch in here. Anything, though, below that 60 penny area where you see the top end of the initial bull flag did have its resistance right there. 1 reject, 2 reject, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. There it goes. It takes my orders to the high side, and now I'm waiting at 75s and now 77s. But this one, much like a lot of these small cap gappers that we've been trading today, are not 1 penny spreads. 3, 4, 5. I've been seeing that more today. Usually it has something to do with the volume, but as we know from the individual who asked that question yesterday, it's not exclusive to volume. Market making as well as volatility, etc. All these things influence the spread. Showing me 73s now. I'm waiting at 75s and 77s. So let's see if we can get that clearing now. Showing me 74s momentarily before it went back down to 73. I'm talking about Beam, B-E-E-M, up about 32% and change on the day. And I also added on Burns, just took a beak wetter there at 73s. I did add at 70s. I've got the orders layered here. This one was a 20 exponential pullback, but again, as I mentioned, anything below 68, and I get stopped out. And the reason I say that is because there was a buyer at 68 all the way through here. If that buyer is no longer there, then I don't feel as comfortable punching in and continuing to look for higher lows. So 68, the breach of, 68 gets me out of the trade. Last but not least, I got shaken out of Zena. I had the wrong stop here. It should have been below 65. I was basing it on my entry. That's wrong. I missed completely the fact that there was a 65 buyer here, and that ended up holding, and now it's moving up. So I'm a little disappointed with that oversight on my part, having not seen that there was a buyer here clearly at 665, and I placed my order above that. That is an obvious mistake and an obvious oversight on my part. So that's what we're doing right now, Joey. We're looking at Burns for that next beak wetter at 75, and then we're looking at Beam. I mean, there's just so many jokes that I can say about this. Puns beam me up, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, there's all that kind of stuff, but that's a little, as Neil would say, low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit. We'll call it a big pun from now on. Big pun. You know Big Pun?
Of course I know Big Pun. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What's going on over here, Joey? I'm 100. I know Big Pun.
Guys, savvy Canadian traders looking to boost their exposure can now tap into the Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3X daily leverage ETFs featuring built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.com or .ca before investing. Get that one right there.
See what your friend Adara just wrote there in the chat?
I'm not a trader. I just trade a lot. Ooh.
Big Punisher, still got what you're looking for. Don't wanna be. Get it, Adara. I don't want to be a player no more.
Oh, is that Big Pun?
I'm not a player, I just crush a lot.
That's Big Pun.
Punisher, still got what you're looking for.
All right, then.
Neil's vibing. How come you're not vibing?
I don't know. I know the song, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan.
We don't care if you're vibing, exactly. Ram. It's not. Oh, now I feel bad for saying that. Sorry,
so far,
Ram.
So good. Yeah, Charlie, good look there, guys. Big Pun. Okay, sale off of Joby. We got out of that Nvidia back into some TQ short, so we mitigated a little bit of those losses to see what's going on. We got that punch. Once we double topped here, we can zoom out to the 5-minute. There we go. So you can see we have a little bit of a double top here on NVDA. This was the short from earlier, attempt number 2 on the short, and then it's like, nope, we got other plans there, Mr. Joseph.
It's okay.
And then we get all out of this trade right up there. So a nice flip. I know OB was long NVDA from the volume weighted average price, so a nice slow grind there. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Let's go TQs, start selling. Can Microsoft sell? Tesla's tanking. Tanking,
again.
but it has broken through the lows here, guys. You can see that displayed 320.39, and now moving a little bit south there on that one, brother.
I'm not an eater, I just eat a lot. Get it, Ronnie. You and I both, brother. I just eat a lot of eggs. That's kind of my shtick there. No, I eat quite a bit, Joseph.
Yo, Sadiq, Sitar, brother, I've answered your question literally 4 or 5 times.
Okay, I'll answer it. Maybe if I answer it.
There you go, tell him.
Okay, Sadiq, he uses IB, okay, Trader Workstation, the options thing on that. Super simple. You don't have to use that. There's so many different options ones, and I would suggest you use not Trade Ideas, eSignal. eSignal's got a fantastic platform there as well, my man. So check that out. Sadiq, chill with that, bro. What are you, like an hour behind in the stream? We've answered it. Dorothy. I like Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. Sharif, your life sounds like a Rocky montage. It is my favorite series of movies, and I only say that ahead of The Godfather because I got more into Rocky as a kid, so I have a lot of nostalgia and a lot of emotions about that. But the dude sitting next to me over here absolutely despises not only the Rocky series, he thinks very little of Sylvester Stallone as a person, as an actor, and everything. So I have no idea what's going on there, but I love the Rocky movies. Dorothy, which is your favorite montage? This is actually a hard question, but I'm gonna have to say Rocky IV, when he has that fight with Adrian, where she tells him he can't beat Ivan Drago, and then he leaves the house, he gets in the Lambo, and he starts ripping on Philly streets, which I mean happen to love. And that soundtrack that was playing during the Lambo scene, that was, I mean, that's just gold. Obviously, you guys are gonna say other things. Say it, go ahead, Assassin. Karate Kid's fantastic, but they're asking me, Chilean Nightmare, about the Rocky scene. Yeah, but I do love Karate Kid, obviously, goes without saying. It's another 80s movie. No, but I think you guys probably in the chat, like, I don't know, you're gonna wanna see a training montage maybe, like when he's in Russia and he's in, and he's in Siberia and he's in the barn, he's doing like sit-ups. You know what he got? He got a wagon. And he started doing neutral grip presses in the wagon, my guy. Right, and he started pressing Adrian and Paulie and Duke. Right, he had everybody jump in that B word. All right, I want to read what Big Spile just wrote me. I just have to vet it, but he's talking about his kids there, so usually it's pretty clean. Oh, that's amazing. Look at this, bro. Took the kids to our local fair last week after seeing some rodeo action. Rye had to ride the mechanical bull. Did not go well for him. He's absolutely adorable, Big Spile. Thank you for sending me this kind of stuff, man. I live the family life vicariously through you, Big Spile. Shout out to you. So what'd you guys say there in the chat? So which one did you guys like? Rambo over Rocky, says Fedora the Explorer. That's crazy, bro. Cliffhanger was the best. A great movie, by the way, Cliffhanger. For Sylvester Stallone. Who else? Let's see what people are saying. Drago. All right. Rocky punching the meat. Yes, Ronnie R. I know you like food, Ronnie. You made that very clear earlier. So I think you have affinity for that meat. This Mustang man, Darwin chasing the chickens. You're talking about Rocky too, in that smelly gray shirt with the hole that he would put his hand in, right? Yes, I remember. I know about that. The OG Darwin. The OG Darwin is always coming up with hot fire there. Predator. Yeah, I don't know about that, bro. Fast and Furious.
I thought that's Arnold, isn't it?
It is. But they're not holding to the rules here of being Rocky. The Chilean Nightmare threw everybody off by started talking about the Karate
Why'd
Kid,
you do
this,
that?
that, and the other. Because he's a Chilean nightmare, bro.
All right, then.
He thought we were talking about cool montages. I really do appreciate the fact that you have the mic there so that you can speak to us directly and not have to jump over Assassino. But we got to do something here.
With Trade the Pool swing trading programs, you can get access up to $40,000 in buying power to trade real shares, not CFDs. You can hold positions overnight, over the weekend, and enjoy limited risk. Thanks to a one-time evaluation fee, no monthly payments, no hidden costs. Take Vincent J, for example, one of Trade the Pool swing traders. He's already locked in $23,082 in profits. His top performer, NMAX, he shorted it from April 20th to May 30th and pulled in $6,700. That's a solid month. Trade the Pool is giving swing traders the tools, the time, and the capital to thrive. Scan the QR code and enjoy 10% off. There, guys.
Can we just do a quick 5-second one here, Assassino? Here we go.
Wow.
Bum, bum, bum,
Yeah,
bum,
Nvidia's
bum.
gone.
Something's going on?
Are you still in that, Obi?
Hold on, something's going on here. People are...
NVDA.
Obi's freaking out over here. He's getting me nervous.
NVDA is wilding out.
NVDA is wilding out. Okay. All right, let's just have a quick look over here. Yeah, NVDA is breaking out to the high side, guys. 174.15 high a day. I don't see any news headlines on this, but Adara's at the big desk. As soon as she finds anything,
Sure.
Nvidia is breaking out, guys. 174.15. It just broke easily above that 173 and change. Keep your eye on Nvidia. Joey.
Yeah. Tough look there, guys. So I'm just hop out of this. I promise you I will not be shorting this market anymore today. And I can't chase any of these longs all the way up here. So there it is. We got out a little bit prematurely right there on this liquidity grab, volume spike to the downside. And then now, sure enough, it's ripping to the top side. So it's just one of those days. And you have to be able to realize that when it's not your day, you're not in sync, you've missed opportunities. It's just chill out, sit on your hands, accept whatever loss, keep it relatively small. So I'm just going to be kicking it, cooling it with you guys. Whatever you want to look at, we'll go over those names. But yeah, I'm not going to be putting on any more risk throughout the day, Sharif.
Okay.
We're going to Adara right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any news here on Nvidia, but it's worth noting we're getting a lot of social media attention, so lots of people looking at the stock and posting about it on X. Unfortunately, no news, but I did want to mention here, NVDA looks like it's just a lot of social media attention. If that changes and I see a news story, I will let you guys know promptly. Back to you.
Dara. Yeah, interesting look there on... missed a super chat about Costco. Sorry, Mr. Easy Street. I do apologize. Allow me to go back to fan funding. I did see it quickly there. Let me just go back. I'm just looking for it. Where the hell is it? Costco. Good time. Oh, Pablo Jesus. $2 super chat. Thank you, Pablo. I'm really sorry about that, brother, for missing your super chat, Joey. But I think this is, I hate to throw it to you again, but it's an options question. Good time for a call in Costco?
Let's pull up cost. I don't even know, brother.
Are you in a position, brother?
No,
Like,
I'm out. I'm out of everything. I
Making
told you I'm going to
sure,
be
yeah.
sitting on my hands for probably the majority of the remaining of the session. I won't be trading probably later into the day. Yeah, sure. Why not, right? Like, I mean, look, you're running into this support level here. You have multiple touches as you break through this neckline. So kind of a sloppy head and shoulders there, but you can see the base, and once it cracked through there, you can get through the low. Maybe you get somewhat of a small pop, but just understand what you're doing when you're buying these calls. You obviously want to buy further dated out. You don't want to be buying anything near dated. But again, to each their own. You got to come up with your own strategy and find a way to execute that one there. But Costco, a nice rebound in some of these staples names. So that's what we got going on. I'm going to price something out here just 1 second there, Sharif.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's take a look at a further dated Costco, and they're going to be pretty expensive just due to the stock, right? So for me personally, if you're new to options, start with shares, right? Just because you don't have to worry about time decay and all those things. So let's go to a further dated. We'll call it December 19th. If you want an at the money call, what are we trading at? 954 roughly. Don't even have to. You have to grab the 50s, and that's going to cost you a whopping $6,700 for one contract. So just keep that in mind as well too. I can't figure out the theta. Well, I can, but I'm not going to look it up just now because it's essentially irrelevant. But December 19th, 155 days, is going to cost you about $7,000, Sharif.
All right, sounds good, Joey. All right, just throwing out my stop over here. All right, I added to my beam trade because it came into that 60 penny area. And as I mentioned earlier, that 60 penny area I perceive to be the top end of the bull flag. leg. I tried to punch in at 61. It wouldn't let me. I tried to punch in at 62s. It wouldn't let me. I had to chase it into 63. That's a little annoying, but that's kind of just the way it goes. So we're going to set up at 67s, and we're setting up at 69s as well. So let's see if Beam's got the juice to move up. It loses 56. That's the end of the trade. I won't give it to below 50. That's not why I'm in this trade. I'm in it for the 60 hold. I'm talking about $2.60. So I get it's above VWAP into 50. If it loses 56, I can always get back in at the 50 penny area, which again is the volume weighted average price. So I won't be DCing into an oblivion there. So I will stop out at 56. Otherwise, here it goes, showing me 66s. We're waiting, as I mentioned, at 67, then 69, and it probably behooves us to set up some more beak wetters into the 70s in case this one. So it's moving. So that's the only position. No, that's incorrect. I've got Burns on as well. So Burns still holding this one. It's still putting in higher lows. So can't really decisively take that $0.75 area. There has been a seller there, despite the fact that the high of the day is 77. The real level where the short sellers or the profit takers have been coming in is that 75 penny area. Jameson wants to know about COUR. Jameson asks, Jameson shall get. Wow, look at that weekly on Nvidia. I just spotted, look at this weekly on Nvidia.
Yeah.
Are there any lower lows anywhere here? One. This one in April. That's literally it. Every other is a, wow, dude. Every other low except for this week over here that made a lower low, the April 21st. I know I'm digressing, but this caught my attention. Unbelievable.
Hopefully so.
Unreal, what a move. COUR, let's have a look at COUR though. I know I got a little ADHD or whatever, ADD or whatever the kids are saying these days. Yeah, calm down, Ram. All right, so. Get help, she says. Thank you, Ram, thank you.
Where's my Reese's Pieces?
By the way, I can get my own help there with a 5-finger discount there at the store. You know that, right? But we don't do that.
That's how we do it. Yeah,
we're good boys.
We're good boys. Yeah, that's how you got your thing.
Yeah, that's how I got this thing, but that's a little different.
Holding on by a thread.
Calm down, it's just fine. All right, COUR. So let's start with the daily on this, Joey, because I don't think very much of it right now, at least intraday. So let's start on the daily. COUR. Where are we coming from? So we're coming from COVID highs. It obviously doesn't look good coming from COVID highs, but what have we been doing lately? So lately, and I mean like since May of 2024, we've been locked in a range, Jameson. Seems like that 6.5 area, 6.5, yeah, 6 generally has been holding up as a level of support. Now to the high side, it's generally been 9, maybe even, yeah, generally 9. Now you have your outsized moves here and here as well. So there have been times where it's broken out, but it's been locked in a range for a while. Now, what are the moving average telling us? The moving averages here are kind of just sideways. You're not really getting much at all. Jameson, I gotta tell you, this one is a bamboozler. Because even when it does take out that 9 on a multi-day basis, look how quickly it does retrace. Yeah. You did it over here. Get it, Joey. Get it. I love this guy. I'm not going into a position till the end of the day.
No,
look at this guy.
No, but dude, I had to. I said it had to be A++. All right, Gorev, check this out.
All right,
Beautiful signal on this breakout. What does it have? The volume. So I had to take that trade.
Okay.
Trust me.
Okay.
I've been people were calling me out in the chat about it, and I was laughing because I'm like, yeah. But this was the only scenario that I would have taken it. All right. So now we're heading into the lower end of the range, but that is VPA 101 right there, and you can see we're a couple cents in the money, 30, 40 cents roughly. I think that we can get to the lower end of this range, and you're starting to see that selling pressure most definitely pick up. Sorry, guys. Obviously, yeah, I had to take it. I'm not even going to try to justify myself or anything like that. I had to take that trade. That was a pretty good opportunity. But the overall market, I'm just talking about the Qs and such. But yeah, there it is. That's working out. I'll pull it up here. One more time, we get the little hedge play right there. It breaks out. I'm like, that sucks. But then we get that inverted hammer candle right there, doji star, right around the highs on a breakout with that volume signature supporting it. You crack it to the downside. I'm going to be looking for some more moves, even potentially back into volume, weighted average price. So let's be patient, see if that can come into play. I will not be taking a loss on that. I can assure you I'll just cut it break even if it does come back to me, or maybe just a very, very small one. So Joe, how was the party when your girl was away? Oh, dude, there was no party. I'm telling you, that's crazy. I didn't even.
That's not crazy. That's not crazy at all. The
Pretty. It's so pretty.
Bro, that, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It doesn't give me goosebumps in the same way that that He-Man animation gives me goosebumps.
You love that
but,
He-Man
oh
thing,
my
yeah.
God. That's just a lot of, I don't know, man. I was watching that movie a lot when I was younger, so it just brings back a lot of memories, man. He-Man. You want to know He-Man? That guy.
By the power of Grayskull.
Oh, every
These
time,
guys are like
every time. As soon as he
It
starts
doesn't-
yelling, "I have the power,"
It doesn't hit me like
every
that.
time,
doesn't
bro.
hit me like that,
On the
man.
back of my neck, man. That's crazy right there.
Joe was late at the
That's
club.
crazy.
No, I was not late at
So
the
Joseph,
Yeah.
let's hear about it, brother.
I
Nobody's
told
gonna
you.
find out.
I told you, brother. I told you. Friday night I went home and I slept.
Yeah, okay.
You want to know what I really did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I bought one of the small containers of the salted caramel Haagen-Dazs.
Right.
Went to town on that. And then I woke up bright and early. Went to the outdoor workout gym. Yo, I'm gonna, bro.
Are these euphemisms
No.
for different things? They are, right,
No,
man?
So listen,
Yeah.
listen. I went to.
we gotta go to Dare.
right,
Breaking
we're
news.
going
Breaking
over
news.
there.
Breaking news. Yep.
Keep an eye on PYPL and SQ. In case you missed it, last week we did have, I guess, reports coming out that some of these major banks are going to be leading to bank fees for customer data for these fintech companies. Well, now the information is reporting that fintech companies and crypto industries are apparently launching a fight to block these bank fees for customer data access. PYPL spiking as a result. Actually, that chart looking really nice here on the day. SQ also on watch. I want to mention, oh, sorry, that's not the ticker anymore, XYZ. Keep an eye here on Block. Block not looking as good here, but PYPL, Affirm also moved on this catalyst when it first came out last week, so that could be one to watch as well. Not doing too much. The other catalyst I want to mention is, Sharif, you were just talking about how it's interesting that we were seeing Min Chi Kuo talk about Samsung versus Apple. Well, now Jefferies apparently releasing a note on Xiaomi versus Apple for Q2 2025. Jefferies, it's just an analyst. They're basically saying that they have a flat year-over-year consensus for Xiaomi for their, I guess, for their sales, for their shipments. This is more about Xiaomi than Apple, but either way, they're basically saying that iPhone demand in 2025 remains strong, and their checks show that 19% year-over-year growth during this period. So interesting look, they're actually 19% year-over-year growth during the 6/18 sales event they're expecting for the iPhone. So that could be a good look for Apple for earnings if these Jefferies estimates are accurate, guys. Back to you.
That's what I wanted to hear, the next part. So when you mentioned Jefferies and then you said Xiaomi, that's what I was asking about. Because remember we were talking about that. Xiaomi, Honor, there's a lot, Huawei, there's a lot of these Chinese brands that you don't hear too much, at least from the analysts in North America, about because they're not sold here. And so they're not as influential here. But it looks like Jefferies commenting about China sales, and that would make Xiaomi very much relevant because Apple obviously has to compete with these Chinese brands in China. And that's the thing, guys. We don't hear too much about these Chinese brands. But the fact of the matter is, like it or not, and I hate to say it like this, but they are catching up, man. They are really catching up. The North American governments tried to kind of put those restrictions on chips. So I talked to you guys about what Donald did to Huawei back in 2019 and all the the aggressive approach that he had to kind of make sure that American dominance remained. But again, Joey says it, I say it, necessity is the mother of all invention. And when you force somebody into a corner, you force their hand, and they seem to excel. So it's not something that I want to do. I don't think that that's the best approach. But again, Joseph, we always talk about this. It's that balance. You don't want the Chinese to come up with the technology and then be able to sell it for cheaper and gain market share with other emerging markets. But at the same time, you don't want to give them the technology and then have them leapfrog you in military and other things as well. So it's a bit of a It's a tough balance to strike there.
Very much so, brother. All right, so this is
Big
where,
smile.
I've seen that
Thank
one.
you, Big Smile. Sharif, Xena Warrior Princess. Enough said. Yes, Big Smile, you've made your affinity for Xena, and your love for her very clear in the past. And it's a show that I very much know about. I never really watched it, the girl growing up.
Didn't China play Xena or Xena, or however you guys call
Warrior
it?
Princess?
Yeah, China.
What do you mean?
China, the
like the actual China, because we were just talking about China.
Yeah, no, the wrestler.
May she rest in peace. Yes.
Oh, she passed?
She passed a long time
Oh,
ago.
yeah,
bro.
damn.
Yeah. It's a sad story.
Yeah.
Yes, I think she did.
She did.
And she
right?
she was great for it, actually, to be honest with you.
She got into some other...
Great wrestler, too, by the way, but
Yeah, she got into some other industry later on in her career.
you had to go there, bro. You had to go there, bro. She passed, bro. She passed,
Sorry.
Like,
I didn't mean to go
You
there.
saw that, Neil? See how he just brought that? It's a family show, says Neil. Oh, man. Lucy Lawless. Thank you, no name. I did not actually know her real name. Thank you for that. Yeah, wow. See? Look, even the chat, bro, they know. They're like, oh, bro, that's a little harsh there, Joey.
Well, I never said it was bad.
Joey.
I never said it was bad. I never said it was bad.
Okay, so we didn't finish your weekend.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, don't try to get away from that.
I'm not. I'm being totally honest with you. Friday night, salted caramel Haagen-Dazs. Saturday morning, outdoor workout gym, ride the bike.
You were carbing up on Friday night for Saturday.
For Saturday morning. And so I could...
Saturday morning, huh?
Yeah. So I could go to the workout gym and then ride the bikes around all day.
That's fair.
Which I did.
Yeah.
And then I watched UFC with one of my buddies. And then Sunday was just gym and mega chill out.
All right.
And hockey. Hockey on Sunday.
Yeah, you did mention you played hockey, so yeah.
There you go.
I definitely believe that.
That's what
Everything was very believable at that whole story. Very believable. Just come on, bro. You gotta bust your chops a little bit.
Oh yeah, these fruit flies. I gotta get one of the fly catchers.
Yeah, and they're so small. You can't even really can't target them that easily.
Bonkers.
All right, guys. Shout out to Mike PD Ryder. Hockey is gnarly. Yeah, it is, man. Your boy Joey's really good at it. Guys, I'm in two positions, and I don't know for how long for, because Burns, well, certainly got a buyer here at 68. I've made that point clear, but it's very consolidative. The volume profile is dropping off a cliff here on BRNS, and that obviously is not good for me. You need volume to go up. So I am very much watching it right now, but I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell because we're very much near the highs. We are putting in lower highs, as you can very clearly see when we got up to that 77 area where I didn't print. We've been putting in lower highs since then, so this could be a flat bottom break candidate through 168. We'll have to wait and see. I've accounted for that in my stop placement. So BRNS in focus for me at the moment. The OG Bovin was telling me to have a look here. Let me just go back up to what he said. ATNF, reaching high day. Let's check that one out, Bovin, because I'm kind of lacking some good moving small caps at the moment. ATNF, show yourself, ATNF. Oh, yeah, you are definitely a small cap. Look at that. Garbage daily chart, garbage. That's what they all do. Yeah, this was not bad, Bovin, but what's the volume on this? Bovin, we're 4 million shares, okay. 4 million shares on a dollar name. We're still a little light, but the percentage up on the day is good, 34%. A lot of respect here, Bovin, for that 10 EMA, since essentially 1140. Hasn't breached the 10 EMA once. It also hasn't rocketed up, though. So you're going to have to size in substantially here to make any money. It's not really breaking out, but that $1.25 remains the high of the day, at least for now. Let's see how this one is. Let me know, Bovin, if it breaks out. Look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw an alert at a $1.24. It gets into that $1.24 area to test the high of the day. I'm interested. Otherwise, I'm going to steer clear. Quickly, before we send it back to Joey, the other trade that I have on Beam. I've been waiting for this one to beam up into the high of the day at around 277. It is not, but it is still holding. Oh, that fruit fly is going to...
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's still holding 260 here, Joey, but we still haven't taken any prints on this one since we added. So the initial entry took a couple of prints, dropped back down to 60. I added, and we have not taken any prints. Okay, Bovin, it's at $1.24, quicker than I thought, Bovin. So there you go. You called it out. You get the credit. It just hit the high of the day. ATNF just hit 125. It's at the high of the day as we speak, up about 42% here, 41.99 at $1.25. This looks like it might take out the $1.25 high a day. Let's go ahead and load this up on a trading screen so we can get a better look at the time in sales. ATNF is a ticker. It is on the Nasdaq there. 1 penny spread. Not too bad here. Not too bad at all. Don't see really any substantial size, though. posted on the level 2 at that $1.25, so we can make an educated guess that given the amount of shares coming in here, that there is a hidden seller at that $1.25, and he just got blown through.
I'm really rich.
Or into that $1.28 ATNF on the way up. Shout out to you, Bovin. Good call out there, and not a moment too late because it is taking out levels. So I'm going to take off Zena, Z-E-N-A, and we're going to put ATNF, and we're going to see exactly how we can get it here. Before we go to Adara, I just want to let you guys know the 10 EMA on the 5 is at $1.18.
SK breaking down here, the FDA Advisory Committee voting 5-3 against the overall benefit and risk profile of the company's Belantam Mafodin treatment. I guess when used with another specific combination of drugs, they're basically saying that this treatment combination is not favorable at the proposed dose for the intended patient group. So GSK's treatment, when combined, I guess, with this other treatment, they're voting against the overall benefit risk profile. So I guess not approving this profile for the intended group and intended dosage. GSK dropping pretty hard on this news. Back to you.
I've seen it consistently for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Take his scan criteria. It's perfect because I don't know how you're always finding them. So it obviously has something to do with your scanner.
It's honestly, there's no complication. I've mentioned what the scanner is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you just get that information, and sure enough, you're going to be popping them out. No problemo.
And I know this guy, he'll go in with size too, so that'll be it'll be crazy once he starts doing it. All right, guys, ATNF is really going. It's a $1.38 high a day. It's a 1 penny spread right now, but I've seen it open up to 3 and 4. 138 HOD. There could be an opportunity here at a $1.25. The only reason I say a $1.25 is we know that seller was at 125. That was the high of the day. Was the high of the day over here, and it took us some time to take them to take out that seller. Do we punch in here? I can punch in here and I can DCA to 125, and then if it loses 125, I can get out. So I'm going to go in small share size over here just so we can participate in this one. It's already not letting me in. All right, there we go. We just got 36s. Let's go ahead and set up at 38. Oh. And then we'll also set up at 40s. Let's see what this one does. And I don't mind, actually, as I mentioned, DCAing into that 125, okay? So that's going to be my move. We already got the 38 print there. It did spike up into 41, but we didn't get the print there. So let's go and set up that DCA at the $1.25. But you know how I'm going to do. I'm going to front run it sitting at the $1.26. So let's see what ATNF does over here. Let's see if this one's got the juice to head to the high side. Just keeping an eye here on the time and sales, Joey. ATNF up 55%.
Yeah, absolutely there, brother. So yeah, you're right. Whoever said that in the chat, banana candy, yeah, for sure. There's no question. Do you think the Qs pull back to VWAP at all today? The way things are looking, no. To be honest with you, I think what would need to happen is we'll have to see a lot of breaking down in some of the big names, and they don't seem like they want to do that. You can see Nvidia is holding this trend extremely well, but once it cracks to the downside, I think there's going to be a good adding opportunity possibly. Okay. So, Adara, what do you got for us?
Well, for one, I'm just watching and listening to the debate on these crypto bills. It looks like they're going to reread the bill. This is going to be pretty long, I feel, right now, because apparently they're voting on, I think, this crypto-related bill. One of them, anyway, I think the one related to the Fed. I'll let you know. They just passed something. I'm going to wait here to see what that was, but just be aware the bill is, or the vote seems to be happening right now for these crypto bills. Now, Rivian on watch here, announcing a new East Coast headquarters in Atlanta. So as we get this potential news here on this vote on the Trump crypto regulation bills, I will let you guys know. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara, for that.
Thank you very much.
I'm out of the money currently on ATNF. It's dropping down to the 30. Still hasn't filled my 126 order. I want to see if it holds up at 125. So that's what I'm going to do. If it loses 125 decisively, we're just going to cut the trade. We'll see what we can get on this one. Topping tail candle right now. This fruit fly is going to drive me nuts into that 141. But there was no continuity at 140. So you feel the sellers were coming in fast and furious at that level. Back to break break even we go on this one. Let's go back to our other one though. Beam, this one, yeah, trying to break up 265. What do we have here on Beam? Just to make sure maybe we can get a beak wetter. No, we can't get one here. That would be break even. That's not the move. So keeping my eye here on ATNF, Joey, as it goes back into break even, into that 136, not seeing aggressive buying, but not seeing aggressive selling. Kind of concerned about how this one does. Scott was letting me know that they did file a few weeks ago a $500 million possible shelf offering with the SEC. They always have that, Scotty, in the bank, man. They like to have that shelf offering filed. I think it's called the S2 or something like that. I could be wrong. Fact check me, chat. Just so that if they do get a price up, they can do an offering at $3 or $4, and then that's when it will tank all the way back down from the depths of hell. Sometimes you're caught when they do a midday offering. Sometimes you're not. It really does come down to luck. Nobody has an idea, unless they're insider trading, when they will actually file that offering, but it hits the news wire, and then the algos react immediately to that. It does not take long. So be on the lookout. Make sure you're using stops. I believe we are going back to Adair LePage with breaking news.
Yeah, just be aware here. We do have Caroline Levitt on watch. She's going to be delivering her press conference in about 10 minutes. Also, Satya Nadella just making a post here on X. That is, of course, the CEO of Microsoft. He said, and I'm just going to read the post, big milestone for the future of quantum computing. We, referring to Microsoft, are delivering the world's first operational deployment of a level 2 quantum computer powered by our stack and in partnership with a couple different companies. They're not mentioning, though, it's worth noting, not mentioning anything like our GTI, QUBT, anything like that. But the news of, I guess, this breakthrough for Microsoft and quantum is sending these quantum stocks sharply higher. So again, Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, posting about one of the company's quantum breakthroughs. Good look for quantum-themed stocks. In 10 minutes, we will get Caroline Levitt, White House press secretary, with that briefing. Back to you.
Yeah, the quantum space is really hot here today, guys. RGTI, wow, big volume spike. This was actually one of the only names I was looking at this morning that in UAL, but this is a big time volume spike right here, guys, and you can see that displayed. And then sure enough, you kind of have some selling pressure involved in that as well too. So just keep an eye on that. If this top breaks, then boom, maybe you'll see some more top side on that one. Oh, this is what I want to pull up
bless
here.
you.
DJT, yeah, bless you. DJT, let's see where we're trading at now today on this name. Is this, yeah, Trump? Okay, yeah, 1890. And who was it? Was it Havana and I yesterday? We were just talking about the open interest at 20, and you can see that we moved up into 911. So maybe some squeeze type price action will come into this name, but a slow grind and still holding up relatively well compared to what we were seeing and experiencing on from yesterday's session. That is there. Yeah, so we're still short this NVDL. Came back, retested that level, ran into some resistance. Maybe we'll try to get the lower end of this range and just take it out for what it is, because this market is really, really strong. And I think you just have to accept the fact that it's a trend day. And if you're on the wrong side of it, you just don't want to continuously force things. And that's kind of the road I'm headed down right now. So end things relatively quick, just in case it goes against me. And then just, hey, I'm not going to be buying any of these tops whatsoever. So it's going to just be a nice, calm and cool session for us. We got an hour or so left. So that's fine. We'll just sit around, hang out. And obviously, you just want to leave yourself a little risk as well, too, just in case that A+++ sets up and you have to take it away. But today, not your boy's day.
Sorry, I got excited there, bro. All right, ATNF, we're taking out levels. So we did add into this one. Good look over here on ATNF. Let's wet the beak a little bit there. Let's see what, oh, we didn't get the ad. Joey, no. Into 26, that sucks. Okay. I was under the impression I had the ad there. That's why I was getting all excited. But yeah, that's, man, come on, bro. It's so random. Holds up at 28. I tried to give it room. I tried to front run the trade. I told y'all it was 25. I put it at 26. It ends up holding 28. Now it's taking out all the levels. All right, Bovin. How are you trading this, Bovin? Because I'm annoyed right now. Let's go. I'm going to cancel my order here at the high of the day. Let's go. We're just going to let this one run. We're going to see where ATNF goes, because this one looks like it's on that good stuff right now. All right, so here comes ATNF. Let's go.
China.
I don't know. Is this an appropriate time to add? I think the time to add is come and gone. It was that dip into 28 to test that previous area breakout. And the buyers were so exuberant, they stepped in early, like I was trying to do, but they stepped in earlier. That's frustrating, whatever. On BEEM, I got a couple of prints to the high side. This one on the candle here that closed at 1245 did wick up into, I believe, 72, 71. So I got a couple of prints there on Beam. At 71, we're still holding, not a big position, but we'll keep an eye out on that one. But it's really going to be the ATNF show here because it's breaking out midday. It's 63% in the clear right now. It is at the high of the day. How high can we go? What's the information here on ATNF? Let's find out. ATNF, we got a 3.2 million share flow. So this thing is tiny, bro. With 2.25% of the float is shorted, so quite small. My friend Scott says resistance certainly at the $0.50. Scott, I always look at the half and the whole dollars as areas of potential resistance as well as support. They are the psychological areas of resistance and support. So topping till candle now into 44s. But what I'm looking at most importantly are the higher lows on basically every successive candle. So we had that dip into 128 where I didn't get filled. Okay, so that's an area low. What was the area low before that? 17. So it's 17 area low, 28 area low, and the current area low, 31. So we've got higher low, higher low, higher low. Let's see if that trend continues. You can try to, become a bit more risk averse and move up your stop to prior bar low. Sure, you can do that, but we know how these small caps do. They zig, they zag, so you might get wicked out of that. So be on the lookout for that as well. Raj Taylor, can you explain Meta price action today? I don't really trade large caps anymore, so I'm going to leave that to your boy Joey Options if he has a second to look at Meta. But I'm pretty sure Neil and Brendo were pointing out a possible double top there on the daily. I'd be on the lookout for that. Yeah. Buvin got in at $1.18 on ATNF. Shout out to you, Buvin. You have a substantially better price than me. I like your entry, Buvin. There was 118 kind of acted like 125 initially. And here's why I say that, Bubba, and I'm bigging you up on this. Area rejection at 18, another rejection, another one, another one, another one. And then on the sixth one at 1240, you got that break of the $1.18. Good on you, Buvin. Excellent trade, buddy. And let me know how it goes. I hope you print up multiple storms and that you had more shares than me because we don't have that much here as a result of the lack of the ad there, Joey. So a little annoyed by that.
That's all right, brother. Okay, take it for a win or what it is, right? Sometimes you just got to accept those smaller wins. And I like what Wayner said to me the other day.
What did he say?
He said to me, he's like, I'd rather have 50 shares of the right trade than too many shares of the wrong.
1,000%.
Right, it's happen on this, but I mean, no, it's a good thing.
It's first course.
Yeah, I like that one. So yeah, that's what we got going on. You guys want to take a look at Meta for sure? Let's zoom out and see what we got going on. META from the daily, and man, for me personally, I just think this. Again, you can just continuously say this. Dara and I were talking about the other day. If you think things are too toppy, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter what you think. Essentially, it's what the market thinks. And if it wants to continue to climb higher, then it's going to continue to do so. So yeah, double top potentially right at that 749 level on META. And you can see we're starting to experience somewhat of a pullback here. And that is going to be approximately how many percentage? I love how you can't. Oh, there. Nope. All right, there we go. We got it. 6.2% right there, guys. So that's that one. A nice pullback. I think this is going to be a fantastic name to own, obviously, throughout the tenure of Zuck being the head guy over there. 46% off of those April lows as well, too. And I thought I heard Adara crack a energy drink. Oh. And she said she is Adara, I thought you weren't drinking
Adara is the queen of the energy drinks.
Yeah, I thought you weren't drinking them anymore.
She said that?
Yeah, I swear.
Adara, did you in fact say that you were not going to drink energy?
This is natural. There's a different one. It's an all natural one. I said this when I told you guys. I was considering staying on the all natural ones. I have a sleep disorder. It's well known. And so at a certain point, you have to make some concessions. Am I proud? No. Am I finding solutions? Yes. I like the oh really. I don't care. I will stand by my decision, and I have not.
I have a question for you though, Adara. I have a question. I love the sass, obviously, but is the caffeine in the energy drinks a different form of caffeine than the one in the coffee?
Ramin just said it. It is a different form of caffeine. Also, if you look at the back, the caffeine is like a lot lower on the can than you would expect with a traditional energy drink in terms of the ingredients. There's also mildly less caffeine, which doesn't matter for me. It's not going to really make a difference. But that is the approach. I cannot do coffee, so you have to make some concessions, I guess.
No, but that wasn't my question. Is not the caffeine content.
The type of caffeine, yeah, it's different. It's called
the
it
type
says
of.
natural.
I didn't
occurring
even
caffeine.
know that there were different types of caffeine. I was trying to be sarcastic.
Oh, no, it is. It is actually distinctly different. To borrow an opiism.
Thank you for
So,
educating us
It's
on that.
actually
I had
like
no
that's
idea.
the
different,
same
though.
reason you can have like caffeinated tea, right? Like yerba mate, stuff like that. It's just a different type of caffeine.
Interesting.
And it is, yeah, it's natural occurring. It's supposed to be better for you. I mean, jury's probably out on that, but either way, I have made a concession, and you got to make adjustments. You know, you can't go cold turkey on things.
Nope.
I stand by my choices, and if I had the door to slam.
Wow. Wow. We just got shafted there. Yeah, I didn't really want to bring that up,
Thank
Ob,
you, Obi.
but we'll just, everything's fine.
What is Neil jamming to over there?
I don't know, man.
Wow, this guy's going crazy, man. This is crazy.
Big pun.
All right, then,
Oh,
that's crazy.
I love it. Joey, I just want to
ahead,
show
brother.
this quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Chilean nightmare doesn't just
Again.
pause once he's completed something. It is an ever-evolving process here. Shout out to the Chilean nightmare. Look how fantastic this is. You got the logos for these. Oh my God. If I zoom, hold on. I just double clicked on it. That's sick. Okay.
Would
so
you do
shout
that?
out to
Do it
the,
again?
No, I can't do it again.
Come on, man.
I'm playing. I like that.
Oh, that's hey, I've been doing that.
You've been doing what? I've never seen you do that.
Are you kidding me? I'll do it right now.
You're doing it live?
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right. No, I just want to tell you guys, make sure to vote, guys. Get into the chat right now. Super simple. The $, throw in your tickers. These are coming in live, by the way. They're literally coming in live. So as you type them, you're going to be able to see them here in the red, in the blue, and then on the top, and there in the green. Shout out to Fabian. But Fabian, we got to do something over here, which is take profits on ATNF into the high of the day. Go Bovin, go Bovin. You're not allowed to leave the chat at any time of the day because you're always calling out these winners. Shout out to Bhavin Patel, the OG in the chat. Look at ATNF go. We're 73 in the clear now. Let's go, baby. It's got volume, about 8 million shares. Last time I looked at this, we were about 3 or something, so we've gotten 5. Excuse me, in the last few minutes. Keep your eye here on ATNF. It's on the warpath to the high side, but for goodness sake, trade it carefully. They're around for a good time, Joey, not a long time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What's been around for a long time here is Nvidia and a good time, Sharif.
Been around the world, yeah. You've been player hating. I don't know when, I don't know why they want us faded. You don't know that?
No, obviously.
That's
no.
P. Diddy, bro.
Bro.
It's your boy Diddy.
Hey, that's your guy.
That's your guy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, I don't even want to say that out loud.
Wow,
Obi,
that's
Obi, you're coming in
crazy.
hot
Yeah,
there, bro.
super hot
Obi
fire.
just came in bad
He's
there.
not a rapper.
Oh my goodness.
Madness,
Oh.
madness, bro. Madness, yeah?
All right, I gotta go.
Yeah, listen up here, yeah? All right, let's get this going. Breakdown. Once this trend line is breached, we'll be all right. Until then, we're just like, we're tripping out a little bit here. We're not, obviously, but yeah, let's just be patient. This thing is so strong. It's not even funny. And I'm talking about this options pinning. It's like in full effect here today on Nvidia. It's annoying, but I mean, we tap into almost that 175 where we have 100,000 contracts. But just the size on both the put and the call side, it's just like, okay, we need those to expire. Out the money at that 170, 172 and a half strike. And it's like, oh, okay. But then we have, 136,000 at that 170 and 81,000 at that 172 and a half on the call side. So a lot of pinning going on. You took a trade again, told y'all Gotham House. No, I'm still in the same one, brother. I'm still in the same one. After I said it, I took this one trade, but that's only because of this signal right here. I promise you that's the sole reason. If I didn't see this type of topping signal here, I would not, especially after a big breakout and the volume supporting it. That's a high quality setup, all right? Even though I am at the break of this, and you can see we're just continuously bouncing off of this trend line. If I happen to be in this trade at the snap of this trend line, I do believe at that point we are going to get to the volume weighted average price. It's just taking some time, and who knows, it could take an additional leg higher. Let's just be real, right? It doesn't mean just because I'm here and I see that signal, it can most definitely blow past to that. So just keep that in mind. We'll hold on to this for as long as we can. But yeah, it's super strong underlying asset. So yeah, Nvidia is that guy, H20 News as well. So probably not the best name to be shorting, but I just think we're so overextended. Again, it's essentially irrelevant what I think, but I'm just kind of going with the price action telling us. At some point, we will get a topping signal, I believe, here, because it's just like, okay, I like how much percentage points. I'm glad to be in this name to the long side, obviously, in the swing and in the long term. But excuse me, 97% from Liberation Day lows, and your deepest pullback is, I think, like 5% or something, or 7% to be exact. So it's just like, yeah, just continue to do things. But here it is, a continuous gap up days. At some point, you will get that turnaround. I don't know if it's going to be today. It's not looking like it. But if we get this trend line snap, then we're going to be sitting fairly well there, Sharif.
All right, guys, ATNF is still going. It's on the warpath to the high side. I just came back from the restroom, and this thing is going. So I've got the 5-second chart up right now on the top screen. We're going to try to spot where these micro pullbacks come into. So what I'm seeing right now is general higher highs and higher lows, usually a quick breach of the 20 EMA. And don't laugh at me for this, but it's a 20 EMA on the 5-second chart. Seems to hold up generally. Here's what I'm looking at, just so you can kind of get the idea. So this is the 5-second chart. I'm trying to see where we get pulled in. Like, for example, you get a bit of a sell-off here. This would be a micro pullback. So each one of these candles is 5 seconds, and then you hold up generally at the yellow line. That yellow line is a 20, and then we make highs. But currently, we are encountering resistance at the $0.75. So let's see if we pull back a little deeper here than the 20 EMA Adera.
On the market, we do have apparently Lula, the leader of Brazil, president of Brazil, saying that Brazil is going to be regulating and taxing U.S. digital companies, likely in response to the U.S. announcing a 50% tariff on Brazil. For context, the Brazilian tariff announced on Liberation Day was only 10%. So yeah, Brazil's President Lula basically saying they're going to respond to this by regulating and taxing U.S. digital companies. Apparently, his issue with that was that Trump's tariff letter lacked negotiating logic. That was one of his issues he's mentioning here. Back to you.
Thank you.
So Ram just sent in the group chat all the different types of 3. There's Red Bull, espresso, and matcha. Apparently, there's no other types of caffeine other than. Get out of here. All right, so the caffeine type. So if it's an energy drink, it's a synthetic or extracted caffeine, whereas if it's espresso or a matcha, apparently it's a natural caffeine. All right, have at it, baby. So burns, yeah, we're not doing anything on that. I'm pulling back ATNF here, so I'm currently watching. Now we've got higher lows again. We had a buyer step in at 62s. I'm going to give this one the old college try, okay? I'll get stopped out below 62. So I'm going to go ahead and put an order here at 72s, and then we'll try for a high day break there at 74, and then we'll set up at 77s, okay? And anything below 62. So let's go 160, and then we'll give it to 5.5s. There we go. So let's see if this one gets continuity. Show me 72. There's a size. There we go. We get the print. Now we're waiting at 74. Show me 73s. Can we get continuity? I'm keeping my eye here on the top screen. 75 high day, guys. There's a seller at 73 that we can't shake here. So seller at 73, can't breach, comes back down again, and here we go. Bit of a sell-off. So that's a lower high now. Okay, that is a lower high, so it's a 75 area high and then a 73 area high. Need to be on the lookout for that. So anything below 60, we get stopped out, but I'm looking for a hold up here generally and another move possibly to take out 75, but we have a topping tail candle preceding this candle. So I probably will get stopped out for the remaining amount, but that's okay. We already did okay on it. I don't want to give back too much here, having gotten in at 70. So that is 10 pennies worth of risk. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one, Joey. We have a higher low. Currently 65 was the area holdup. Prior to that, it was 62. So we have a lower high, but we also have a higher low, at least for now. That's ending. There we go. We dropped in, so we will get stopped out. Now it's all right. So we'll give back a little bit there on ATNF as it does not hold up that local area of support. So this is what I was looking at, guys, just so that you can follow along what I was thinking. So you make that area high into 75, right? You dip in, and then you know there was a buyer here at 62. But this was the problem. That 73 seller, we couldn't shake that 73 seller. So that ended up being a lower high, and now we've got lower high, lower low. So you have a bit of a micro downtrend now. Again, this is the 5-second chart, right? So be on the lookout for that. Let's see if we can kind of change trend and head back to the high side over here on ATNF, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there, guys. Great question in the chat here. We are rolling into earnings season, so with that being said, let's start taking a look at some of these expected moves. Here on Netflix this evening, we have approximately a 6.3% expected move. That could put us at a high of around $1,342 or around $1,182 at the low. So there it is, Netflix expected move here, guys, coming that earnings report. And I think it's a fantastic. Sharif and I were actually this morning, we're like, imagine if Netflix and Dana White teamed up, because we know that TKO, can't remember the name of the actual group, but TKO Holdings, what is it? What is the actual parent company? It's really bothering me that I don't know. But anyways, WWE is with Netflix, right? They got the Monday or Thursday Night Raw, whatever it may be, SmackDown as well. Imagine if UFC teams up with Dana White and you can start getting those pay-per-views on there and even the fight nights. So we like Netflix, but let's also take a look at some of the other earnings reports that we have this evening. Why do I always have that thing closed when I need it up all the time? So we'll pull this up and see what else we got going on for this evening's calendar. So Netflix, and then we have, Interactive Brokers, and then Martin. So we'll take a look at IBKR, expected move, to see what we got cooking up there to see if it's even worth it. It usually doesn't trade the best, to be honest with you. It's not necessarily an intraday trader either. There was an error. Okay, so this is really going to plan here. IBKR. And there we go. Perfect. All right, so let's take a look at Interactive Brokers expected move. So it's going to be approximately 5%. That can put us at a high of around 62.72 and a low of around 56.70. So those are two of the more popular names, I think, after the bell today. And then we have Huntington on Friday and 3M in the morning. Usually nothing crazy going on. Unless the company wants to hide their earnings, that's when you'll see those companies report Friday evening. But very rarely you see anyone half decent do that. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Q slowly curling over. We're just stuck in this range here on NVDA. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's another liquidity grab to the top side. I'm thinking about just getting out and just saving mental capital, to be honest with you, because it's just not what I want to happen is not happening, and it usually works relatively quick. It's a very, very strong short signal, but this name is just too strong, and you can see it displayed in the tape. Every time you run into a support level, it just gets bought up. With that being said, I'm just going to get out break even right here. So yeah, I'm out of that trade, break even, nothing, small potatoes. It's too strong, and I'm not going to be looking for any more shorts. I don't think there's going to be any more longs today. Could be totally wrong, but that's it. Your boy's sitting on his hand for the remaining of the session.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to do the news, guys. Yeah. So let's work into that. There was a lot to talk about today. So let's get right down to it, baby. Because I think I've got about 10 different news items we got to get to here, Assassino. So let's start right down. Let's get right down to it. All right. Taiwan Semi, I should say, excuse me, recorded Q2 profit record. So let's talk about their net profit first. Surged 61%. Sorry. Yeah, I can't put it any higher. Year over year, that easily beat, they printed, 398 billion new Taiwanese dollars. Don't know what the conversion is, but that beat what the street was looking for. They were looking for 377 billion new Taiwanese dollars. Revenue hit 933 billion new Taiwanese dollars, almost a trillion there. That's about $31.7 billion US. That's up 39% year over year. And that's well ahead, again, of the estimates of 931. The beat was really attributed to booming demand for AI chips, as well as advanced semiconductor nodes. We'll break down their different segments when we get back from Madeira.
Feds Daily making some comments that may not be loved by President Donald Trump. Apparently, Feds Daily, she's been talking for a while here. I haven't mentioned much because it's more or less what we hear from these Fed speakers. They want to be patient, wait for data. But one thing she just said was interesting. She was asked about the possibility of a July rate cut, and she said, that's the wrong question. She said, what's less important is July or September, and more, it's not going to be the timing that's going to be the most important thing. It's about the direction of inflation. She also said that where rates eventually settle will be 3% or higher. That's interesting because we know 2% is the rate that they're going for. So that's a pretty interesting look. Either way, long story short, Feds Daily saying that asking about a July rate cut is not the correct question to ask. We're going to have to wait and see what that means and how that unfolds. Also, as I mentioned earlier, we're expecting Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt to deliver a press conference at 1 p.m. She has not yet entered the podium. That's okay. Sometimes these start a little bit late. I will let you guys know when that begins because these questions are sometimes market moving. Back to you.
For that, Adara, let's continue. Do you have anything before I continue?
No,
on?
continue there.
Okay, so let's talk about how their different segments did. We're talking about Taiwan Semiconductor, which reported either yesterday night or this morning. Their high-performance computing, HPC, drove in about 60% of their overall revenue, up from 52% last year, so it's a growing segment. Their advanced chips, meaning anything 7 nanometers and below, that accounted for 74% of wafer revenue. So really, it's the advanced chips that are taking up the majority of revenue right now for Taiwan Semi, and that's what you want to see because it's a higher margin product. Now, with respect to their guide, they forecasted Q3 revenue. I'm going to give you American dollars now, $31.8 billion to $33 billion, implying a 38% year-over-year bump and an 8% quarter-over-quarter bump. Those are healthy numbers, to say the least, with full year 2025 revenue now projected to grow about 30% year-over-year in U.S. dollar terms, really driven by AI, obviously, and tech adoption. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are macro and geopolitical headwinds to speak of here, and here they are. The Trump's threat, I should say, on Taiwan, they loom large. 32% tariffs imposed in April, with more possible if a deal is not struck to the, to the pleasure of Donald Trump. CEO noted that there is no current impact on customer orders, but acknowledged the elevated uncertainty because of the tariff risk. Additional concerns here include Taiwan, the new Taiwanese dollar strength against the U.S. dollar, as the U.S. dollar has been selling off lately. That makes it more expensive for people with U.S. dollars to buy their product, and potential order cuts from smartphones and PC makers. Adara with breaking news.
But to let you guys know, Sharif, Nvidia, nice little pop here. The company announcing alongside the University of Bristol the official launch of their iSamber AI supercomputer. Apparently, it's the UK's fastest AI supercomputer and one of the most energy efficient. So this has just been launched. It only runs on 5 megawatts. This launch was announced 9 minutes ago on Nvidia's website, though, of course, the computer was hinted at earlier. But yeah, official launch here. Good look for NVDA pushing higher. Still no word on Caroline Levitt. Back to you.
Is now outperforming Adara. Microsoft 1.44% on the day, for Nvidia 1.41 for the softie. So both doing very well on the day. Joseph, before I go on to the next story, anything about Taiwan?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So let's take a look at it from a technical perspective. So you can see off of those April lows, we are trading about 84% off of those levels, and then we get a big time gap up. Oh, did you want to see that one more time there?
Are you kidding me? Oh, come on, dude.
84.4%. Why, were you going to buy it?
There's no point.
Obviously. So, bro, I'm telling you, this is what I'm getting at here. Tom Lee and multiple analysts say this is the most hated V recovery of all time.
Yes.
Look how quick it's been. It's been a couple months, and off of those lows, we were in a bear market. We were down 20-something% at one point in the overall market. Now we've established new all-time highs. Katina Man said to me, he said, we was asking, he's like, do you think that, or we were talking, I'm like, there's zero chance that the market makes all-time highs this year. Yeah, and I was so wrong. I couldn't have been more wrong, but that's okay. Okay. We're long, NVDA.
Bang.
So that's it. We're not right now, not intraday anyways. But anyways, back to the Taiwan Semi here, Street. Before we move on, we'll go over the technicals. So you can see that we're up 84%, but then also a big time gap up here as well too, guys, all right? So you're getting this nice, strong trend line, but then you have this massive indecision hammer right at the highs. So this is a big time move higher, and then you have an additional gap up. Just watch out, right? How much more extended can it be? It will continuously be irrational longer than you can say Sullivan, all right? So just keep that in mind, and that's what I was attempting. The shorts weren't working. At one point, you just have to be like, hey, I'm done with it, especially expending capital and mental capital. I didn't even look at NVDA. I got out. It wasn't capitulating, and then we get that news from Adara. Just get out when you're supposed to. Don't fight the trend and wait for it to tell you. Once these trends crack, then you can give yourself the opportunity to trade. You wait for that retest, and then maybe you buy a couple puts or something. But I would never say hold shorts for too long.
The crypto bill advances after the longest House vote ever, according to this article. After a 10-hour, floor delay, the House finally passed not the bill, You might think 10 hours was worthy of the bill. No, just the rules, the debate rules on how the 3 crypto bills circulating on the House floor will be debated. The vote followed 2 days of internal GOP conflict, making it the longest open vote in modern House history. The bills had initially failed Tuesday due to opposition from hardline conservatives. I think it was, what are they calling them? The Freedom Caucus, I think they're calling them, prompting emergency talks and an intervention by this dude. On Wednesday, moderate Republicans raised objections to last minute. Guys, don't come at me in the chat for right-wing moderate. I didn't write this article. This is a summary, okay? On Wednesday, moderate Republicans raised objections to last-minute bill changes to appease the right faction of the party. Some objected to merging of 2 bills, which diluted some original legislative intent. Trump had to intervene Tuesday night, meeting with 12 of the conservative Republicans, and helped flip some no votes to yes. And just so you understand what's at stake here, there are 3 bills: the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and then another bill that doesn't seem to have a name for whatever reason, but that bans a central bank digital currency, which is really important to a lot of these, the representatives. The Genius Act has already passed in the Senate, passed back in June. The other 2 still face hurdles in the House, so we'll have to see how this goes, but it does look good. It looks like as maybe, you know, we've kind of just, I don't know, we're talking about debate rules here, but you feel like that was definitely a hurdle you wanted to get over, especially if you're pro-crypto and want to get this moving. Joey, any comments?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go over some of the names that most heavily benefited from this. All right, that's going to be Coin, Circle, and Robinhood. All right, just why? Because they have the ability to transact stable coins. Circle, the finance tech company that holds USDC. All right, so just see the digital finance company that holds USDC. So there it is, a big time move up to 244, and then wow, it's selling pretty aggressively here, Sharif, on the session. 243 down to 232 right there. So holding up relatively well, but we know of the moves that happened after we heard about the Genius Act in Coin and in Robinhood. Some big time moves to the top side. We're now putting in a new all-time high on Robinhood at 106, and then we established a new all-time high there on Coinbase as well too, with a high of around 416. We can take a look at Circle to see what we got going on from a daily, and sure enough, you get that IPO date up hundreds of percents, and then now you're getting another nice pop up there in CRCL. Adara, what do you got for us?
Let's take a look here at the market. I just want to let you guys know we have more comments coming from Feds Daily and Brazilian President Lula. He's not been a huge fan of how Trump put through these tariffs, as I mentioned earlier. And he actually says that he would like to sit down with Trump and negotiate tariffs. Now, this is interesting because we know Trump has basically said if you get a deal, then, or if you get a letter, then we've made a deal. So we're going to have to wait and see if this is tested, because apparently Lula wants to sit down and meet with him. We also have Feds Daily saying that leaders in business are cautiously optimistic, and that's showing in the stock market. So basically saying that there is some hopefulness in the economy, even though, as mentioned earlier, Feds Daily says she's really not sure about timing and doesn't want to talk about timing here in terms of a rate cut. For the record, the CME Fed Funds tool is showing very, very unlikely that we get any kind of cut in July. Back to you.
Assassino, can you give us any insight on Lula and his thinking? What's this guy's move? I can't hear you, brother. Okay. Bolsonaro's sons are in the U.S. and they're talking to Trump.
So
okay.
that's why everything happening.
I got you. And Bolsonaro is of Brazil, and we've heard Donald Trump say that he's been treated unfairly in Brazil. He's been treated unfairly. So Donald, he's got some motivations here. Bolsonaro is about to be arrested? Okay, so Bolsonaro, Assassino telling me that Bolsonaro likely going to be soon arrested in Brazil. And then that seems to be causing some issues there with the political tensions with the United States. We'll keep you guys appraised of that. Hopefully they can strike a deal without getting too much politics into it. But I think, obviously, I'm a little naive, but that's part of my charm. All right, let's get to Pepsi, okay? Pepsi beats on earnings, but volume softness persists. So let's talk about the EPS. How about they did on earnings? EPS came in at $2.12. above the 203 expected by the street. Revenue as well, narrowly beating though 22.73 billion. The street wanted 22.27, so a beat but not a big one. GAAP income though, a very, very clear drop here in GAAP income, 1.26 billion in income or profit brought in on the quarter. Compare that though to last year on the quarter when they brought in a little over $3 billion. It really is, according to them, as a result of restructuring and impairment charges. Organic revenue did grow 2.1% year over year, really reflecting modest growth amid consumer weakness. Let's talk about how they did geographically. Global food and volume fell 1.5%, while beverage volume was flat. North American food and beverage both saw declines, with volume, food volume declining 1% and drink volume declining 2%. That's North America. Their soda volume did rise, with, this is no surprise to me, Pepsi Zero Sugar seeing double-digit growth as people really look to get on that health-conscious kick. Building on that health-conscious kick, look at this. What they're doing, Joey, they're capitalizing on the protein and the health food craze with supports from brands like Sabra. So they're getting on that. Executives highlighted plans to improve in-store availability and shelf placement and to kind of reignite that domestic momentum. However, their outlook remains unchanged, even though there are some silver linings here. They reaffirmed their full-year forecast, still really projecting a flat EPS year over year in constant currency. And they expect low single-digit organic revenue volume, even though amid the tariffs and the consumer spending concerns, previous guidance, Joseph, was lower due to macro risk and the new tariff and economic volatility. Any comment on Peps?
Yeah, absolutely. PepsiCo, it's unfortunate that it has not participated in this rebound. And again, this is coming from a technical standpoint. Shreve will bring you the fundamentals. We'll take a look at the stock from a technical aspect. So a nice consistent downtrend right here, guys. And then now with this gap up, it snapped. All right, so that's a positive sign. Wait for the retest even, and then maybe you get some continuation. But from these September highs of 2024, so almost a year ago now, a couple of months anyways, okay, we were down to a low of about 28%. And then until now, it just broke that trend line, and we're up 12%, 6% on today alone. So a really good look here in PepsiCo, and especially on that earnings report, you get that trend line break. Who knows what the recovery can be.
And that's a fantastic, I love how you showed this. Yeah. So I just want to, Assassino, can we put that back? Yeah, so look, this number one, the trend line is beautiful.
Yeah.
And then, Joey, what I really like about that, it breaks a trend line on a gap.
Exactly.
So the gap there, it could be an initiation gap. It could be, you need to see a little bit more. Look for that continuation. But yeah, good call out by you.
And let's go, again, we're kind of comparing apples to oranges here, but look at across the board, right? So when these trend lines when these trend lines are snapped, that's AMD. We'll do the same thing there in Nvidia as well, right? And this is what can help you get involved into some of these names. Look at these down trend lines, and I can even give you one more, Sharif, if you would like. And that's going to be a fan favorite.
Oh.
Bitcoin, right?
My favorite.
Right? Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Once it snaps. So I just gave you 4 examples of downtrends being snapped, and then sure enough, look what's proceeded after that. So a potentially good move here in PepsiCo.
Adara.
Hi, I just want to let you guys know Netflix reports tonight, and if you're thinking, hey, what's their history? I have this fun infographic on X at TTV Research. It is Netflix colored, and it's actually one of 2. I will be previewing the other one in probably the next 20 minutes or so. So this is just Netflix's revenue growth. It contextualizes its addition into the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500. Did you know it replaced New York Times? Because I didn't. So you can learn new things here on X at TTV Research. Crazy revenue growth, though. The stock is at all-time highs. Revenue at all-time highs. What will this quarter bring? You're gonna have to find out. Back to you.
The earnings and chill headline there. That was fantastic there, Dara. Excellent as always. Joey, we're ready to go on to the next topic?
Yeah.
We're gonna talk Micron.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk a little Micron. Goldman, for whatever reason, in 2025 has decided it's about time for us to start covering these semi-cap equipment companies. Goldman, where you been, bro? AI has been out since November of 2022, at least these LLMs. Obviously, AI is older than that. But Goldman, for whatever reason, decided now was the right time. So they did initiate coverage on Micron, initially starting out here with a neutral rating and $130 price target. The rating is part, as I mentioned, of an overall broader launch covering semi-cap equipment, semi-cap factories, and the storage names. The firm sees the semiconductor cycle as being in the mid-cycle phase. So you guys have to Google what that is, with limited near-term upside catalysts through all of 2026, whether you believe that or not. That's up to you. Micron, they say, is well positioned in the memory and the storage space, especially with NAND flash, which has been under some pricing pressure as of late. Goldman expects a gradual NAND recovery into 26, potentially, possibly here, boosting Micron's revenue trajectory. It's always a word I struggle saying. I don't know why. However, short-term demand, they say, and pricing dynamics remain challenged, limiting the immediate upside potential of Micron. And they also noted China here was kind of a concern in the past. They now view it, I should say, as a potential growth lever, not just a regulatory risk. They say rising domestic semiconductor demand in China could support Micron sales despite the geopolitical headwinds. Obviously, Micron not the only one involved in this space. SK Hynix as well as Samsung very much involved as well, Joey, which are a lot closer to the Chinese market than Micron is. Well, I don't know where Micron, they probably use Taiwan Semi. I have to look that up. Are we going to Adara? Because I heard her voice. No? No, we're good to go.
Okay,
China.
it's China. All right. I see what it is. Okay, guys, so here's another example of kind of just what we were going through here. Boom. What happens when that trend line snaps? You're now on the backside of it. But just be cautious of what this level is here. You can see that we're going to be running into some key resistance. And then sure enough, we have a hammer doji right there. We're going to Adara.
Tesla moved, in case you were wondering here. There is news on it. I'm seeing apparently the U.S. is set to impose a 93.5% tariff on battery material from China. That's right, an almost 100% tariff on battery material from China, sending TSLA to the downside. As Trump said, China. Back to you.
Love these midday things. That's insane, dude. Oh, Donald, man.
China.
It's been like, how long has it been now, man? He got sworn in the 20th of Jan, right?
Yep.
So what today? 17th of July. It's the longest 6 months I've ever been through, bro. My goodness, this guy. I'm drained. You have another 3.5 years.
You got another 3.5 years.
Another 3.5,
Hopefully things start to cool off.
I don't think so.
There's zero chance.
There's 0% chance. Look, every time he's done one little escapade there, whether it's tariffs, he's going to go on to the next one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever it is.
That's just how it is, though, right? It's like, okay, as soon as one thing's over, on to the next, right? So, I mean, yeah, I wish I could. Is there any events I can bet on? Event contracts?
Yes,
with this guy?
With this, 100%. With
I
our
need some
platform.
Donald
You
event
can go on
contract.
Kalshi, Polymarket. We could do that after we're done the news.
Let's do it. It's fun. Let's do some event contracts and get super degeneracy.
All right. Let's talk some Meta and AWS here. They're launching, this is actually a cool story, guys, $6 million open source AI startup program. So let's talk about what they're doing. Meta and AMZN are launching $6 million initiative to attract 30 U.S. startups focusing on building AI apps using Meta's Llama 4 or Llama models, not just Llama 4. Each startup is going to receive about $200,000 in AWS credits, so you're going to be able to use their cloud service for free, as well as 6 months of technical support from both Meta and Amazon. The initiative opens this summer and is framed as a counterweight to kind of OpenAI's closed source dominance. There's a bigger issue at play here, which comes between the open source AI and the closed source AI. Zuckerberg investing heavily in the open source, let's call it pseudo open source story to follow, including building a super intelligence team. We know he's throwing around hundreds of millions of dollars to lure in top talent to Meta. But the partnership between Amazon and Meta here does showcase the industry's open versus closed source AI battle. Meta's Llama is open source, again, pseudo open source, unlike OpenAI's ChatGPT and Anthropic's Claude, which are closed source. Now, the reason I've been throwing around this word pseudo open source is because it's open source to a limit. I forget how they actually structure it, but there's only a certain amount of tokens that you're allowed to use so that you don't overwhelm the system, according to them. So it is kind of open source in the way that you don't have to pay directly for it, but not really. I don't think DeepSeek has that same limit that Llama has put in. Fact check me on that, chat, if I'm wrong. What's the strategic value in AWS and Amazon? AWS already sees traction for Llama in financial tools as well as client relation management systems. That's what CRM stands for. The initiative could yield long-term Amazon revenue, right, if startups stay on AWS after the program has been completed. So maybe kind of getting in the future movers and changers of the world here, Joseph. So AWS and META, or sorry, AMZN and META.
Yeah, well, that's what I typed in AWS.
Sorry, dude, sorry.
I did that too, though, because I think obviously it's a very important piece of Amazon. But I mean, again, here's another name slightly lagging compared to the overall market. It has not established a new all-time high, right? So here we are up here. And I've said this multiple times before. Google Cloud and AWS actually missed on cloud growth. But I wouldn't be surprised if they were to beat this quarter. So I'm going to be looking at that. Azure was the only one that did beat out of the big three. And look what that stock's done, Microsoft to be exact. So, I mean, I really like Amazon. I wish I did buy some right around this neck of the woods. But this is just another example, right, guys? So now we're just collecting data. Look at another trend line break, and then sure enough, you're just steady on the uprise. So why wouldn't we
Tesla's
play the
tanking.
inverse? Is that we'll take a look at that.
Here,
I don't know why we wouldn't have the inverse in that. Let's pull up Tesla here, and then we're going to go to Adara, guys.
Here in PLL, this is, I guess, a not Pretty Little Liars, the show, but a sympathy play to TSLA. In case you missed it, we basically had that news that the U.S. was going to be imposing a 93.5% tariff on battery material from China. Unclear if this is confirmed or not, but either way, PLL actually popping as TSLA drops. I looked into this company, Piedmont Lithium. Literally on their homepage, they say that they're a U.S.-based growing lithium supplier that is uniquely positioned to benefit from America's pro-EV manufacturing policies. So any American manufacturing specifically for batteries is going to be a great look for this company. Nice push to the upside, about a 40-cent push for the $7 name on this catalyst. Again, this is a bit of an antipathy play for TSLA, which is dropping on the news of this potential 93.5% tariff on battery material from China. Back to you.
Thank you for that. And I just want to point out that MP is moving on that news as well. You're getting the breakout currently. You're at the high of the day. It's about to take out 61 right now on MP. Wow. And MP's had a good couple of days because of that headline with Apple. Yeah, that Piedmont company is one that my friend Alfred has been invested in for years and years and years. So I'm going to have to ask him what his opinion on that is with this new headline. Joey, go ahead.
Shop international markets.
Yeah, there Marcus is talking about MP as well, breaking out. Shout out to Marcus.
So thank you for that there. So yeah, we were just going over Tesla. You can see Tesla slowly starting to bleed here. Nothing substantial from a daily, but it is relatively weak here today, guys. Breaking through that 320 level. Now we're trading around 318. We were just going over Amazon. Let's take a quick look at Meta quick before we send it back. Again, weak opening drives, you get that recovery, still can't establish a new high of the day, and you come back. But let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily. Are we going to have another primetime example? Yes, we are. And there it is, a trend line break. And then sure enough, we have been going completely parabolic up here, and now that trend has broken to the downside. Brando pointed this out, Sharif pointed this out. Potential double top on META.
And your friend Neil as well.
Neil
pointed that out as well, yeah.
Neil.
Let me know when, Assassino. All right, guys, new traders. Ozan, are you in the chat? Listen up. The first month, it's absolutely free. That's right. We're waiving the fees so you can trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite experience where you can analyze, you can strategize, and then hopefully after that, you'll capitalize on their platform that has everything: infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. You can also predict better with their backtesting tool. It's got reliable real-time data, global markets at the tips of your fingers, baby. All in one platform. Do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready, and only if you're ready to elevate your trading. Scan that QR code or check the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks there at eSignal. Joseph, we're going to weasel on over to United. You good to go?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's rock and roll.
This was not a bad report, but there were definitely some concerning things here about overall travel, especially in economy and international travel. So let's get right to it. Let's talk about how they did on the current quarter, which is Q2. EPS, 387, beating the 381. So the beat there on the bottom line. Revenue, 15.24, missing the 15.35. So a miss on the top line there, slightly short. Revenue did rise 1.7% year over year, but net income as well dropped 26% year over year on the quarter, down to less than $1 billion, $973 million they took home this time. Unit revenue as well dropped 4%, largely due to domestic travel weakness. Where have we seen this? Oh, almost every time these airline reports. Premium cabin sales up 5.6%, basic economy up 1.7%. Why does that make sense? People with money are not hurting right now.
No.
They're printing up a storm with the higher rates. Joseph, there's a wealth effect that happens with the higher rates. If you've got cash, you seem to be able to generate more cash just by sitting dormant. It happened in the 80s when they had 21% interest rates, believe it or not.
Crazy.
Very, very short time.
Yeah.
But people printed up storms and there was a huge wealth effect. It didn't happen to that extent this time, obviously, but higher rates for longer seem to help the rich.
Yeah, most definitely there, Sharif. I was going to mention, you talked about a little bit of the weakness, and I seen that you had it up. I read a little bit about it as well, too. Mostly domestic. They're having trouble with that, and pricing power
Absolutely.
as well. Not the most competitive pricing whatsoever.
No.
You're seeing that affecting.
They're definitely premium.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not helping their cause whatsoever, but domestically, things are cooling down a little bit.
Let's talk a little bit about that domestic weakness, Joey. Domestic revenue per seat mile dropped 7% year over year, highlighting obviously the pressure in U.S. travel. Europe didn't do much better, though. Unit revenue in Europe down 2.2%, but a lot better than that minus 7% print. It's suggesting here softening prices even in international travel markets, and travel demand among price-sensitive flyers has been weaker than expected in earlier 2025. Let's talk about the guide now. Here's what they're guiding. Full year 2025 adjusted EPS. They're guiding between $9 to $11 per share. That's in line with what the previous guide was, previous recession scenario range that they talked about, with Q3 EPS guiding here 225 to 275, again, roughly in line with the street's expectations. But they previously offered two full year scenarios in April due to the macro uncertainty. That's when we had the Liberation Day sell-off. They kind of gave an EPS range of 11.50 to 13.50 if things remain stable. If we fell into a recession, what they call recessionary, we would drop down to $7 to $9 per share EPS for their guide. So that is the look there. And they're having some operational headwinds at Newark Airport because there's just not enough staff, guys. And I guess that's where their hub is. UAL? Yeah, because United is Chicago. That's right. United is Chicago. I was confusing the two. My bad. Any other comments, Joey?
Let's take a look at it here from a technical perspective here, guys. So you can see in the pre-market a nice move. And I was watching it. I'm like, oh, do I get involved in this at this consolidation low? And then you get that move from about 91 all the way to about 94. So that was a really, really good one there, potential trade, but we didn't take it. We took RGTI for a small pop, but then we ended up breaking even. But yeah, so you can see that downtrend still steady here, guys. So just keep that in mind. You get that flush to the downside, fail to establish a new high. You do break that low, you get a new low, and now you're slowly starting to recover. Let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily. And there it is. So it has been participating, slightly lagging, up 71% though.
I just remember when Wainers was in that trade.
From here?
That one.
This day right here?
Well, he was generally in that uptrend, was he not? I remember he held that for a while.
Yeah, I didn't know.
You didn't know about that? Yeah, Wainers had a banger on that.
Yeah, a banger, like 64 all the way up to 115.
Swing on that bad boy.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so good look there. And even a nice recovery off of the lows. From a percentage standpoint, we're still roughly down about 22% from those previous all-time highs.
That's good. It's good. So there's room to move. All right, Maximus, my man, thank you very much for the $5 super chat, and thank you even more for your comment. Thanks for keeping my head in the game all day. I appreciate it. TTV Live, we appreciate you, my man. And thank you for the nice comments and the $5 super chat. Joey, let's go on here to OpenAI. Uh-oh, that relationship with Softy is degrading day by day. We'll get more to it when we get back from Adair with breaking news.
Yes, be aware here. We do have Caroline Levitt speaking right now. This started about 40 minutes late. She just updated, or I guess announced some updates to Trump's travel schedule. Apparently he'll be in Scotland for next week. So just be aware he will be in the UK. He'll be meeting with Keir Starmer, who is the Prime Minister of the UK. So that could be pretty interesting as well. Just be aware this is going to be happening. Again, usually these meetings are going to be more interesting with the Q&A portion, which has not started yet. Caroline Levitt just got on the podium, but I'll let you guys know if anything market moving happens here. The Scotland visit, though, potentially of note. Back to you.
Our weasel back in. Remember he got, Donald, that is, he got the second invitation from King Charles, which was like, I guess, unprecedented. Do you think that he meets with King Charles this time around for the second time since he's going to be in, the United Kingdom?
I don't know. It's something I want to think a little bit more about. I mean, we know he can be he can be a little surprising with what he chooses to do and doesn't do. So I don't know. I mean, as Scott Bessent himself said, Trump's strategic uncertainty is one of his greatest strengths. So maybe maybe he'll just randomly show up at the castle and be like, "Hello, Melania and I are here. Let me in." So apparently he's going with Melania. So yeah, I mean, maybe they'll show up. Maybe Melania will be hanging out with Camilla. I have no idea.
I'd like that. Look, Adair, Donald shows up at the house at your place. You opening the door?
I mean, I don't think you'd be able to find my place, and I've got roommates.
That's
I
not the
live in
question.
a room.
No, that's not the question, Adair. He shows up at the door. Oh,
that's what she's doing.
Officially, she's not opening.
That's what I do.
That's crazy.
I love it.
He's gonna hand deliver the letter to.
Guaranteed Adair doesn't open the door, bro. No, I'm playing. Of course she does. Or does she?
I don't know.
We won't know.
Do you open the door? Of course. I don't
in
need
a heartbeat, bro.
Yeah,
I'm coming in.
I'm coming in. Oh, it's the greatest condo ever in Toronto.
Because I'm here now. All right, let's go on. OpenAI expands cloud partnership with Google, not Microsoft. I've got more information on this. The relationship between OpenAI and Microsoft is slowly degrading. You guys know I gave you that guy, Nate, on TikTok. He's the guy that I get my information from. He's a software developer, an AI software developer in Silicon Valley. He's fantastic. I'm going to bring up his TikTok profile in a second. We're not affiliated with him, but if you want good quality, unbiased AI information, he's the guy. I'll give it to you in a second, but let's talk about this one. So OpenAI announced it will now use Google Cloud to support ChatGPT and its API services. This diversifies its cloud capacity beyond Microsoft, right? Making a strategic infrastructure shift away from Azure. Google's cloud infrastructure, will operate in the US, Japan, Netherlands, Norway, and in the UK. So it's not just here in North America domestically. OpenAI had relied exclusively on Microsoft Azure, as we know, that $10 billion initial investment in that bromance between him and Satya. But capacity constraints prompted broader sourcing, and they actually did that with some others. Microsoft retains, though, exclusive rights to OpenAI's API, but no longer, guys, has exclusive rights for compute, hence why they're going elsewhere. And Google joins CoreWeave and Oracle in offering additional infrastructure to the world's most used LLM. We were talking about ChatGPT and OpenAI. Obviously, this is an obvious win for Google as they are seen as laggers behind Azure, behind AWS. So getting a big contract with ChatGPT certainly cannot hurt, Joey. Google also has cloud partnerships with Anthropic, another AI firm started by yet another ex-OpenAI employee. So not a bad look here between these guys.
Absolutely, Sharif. And honestly, the cloud growth, I think it's going to be sustained. You see the CapEx between these hyperscalers, massive amounts of capital being expended here, or they're spending a bunch of money, I should say. I don't think the cloud space is going to slow down whatsoever. And I know you don't necessarily like CoreWeave, but if they stop spending so much money and they start turning a profit, things can really start to work.
But Joey, they can't, dude. Like they can't stop spending money because you buy the hopper, and then in 2 years the hopper's is old. You're gonna have to buy the Blackwell, and then you're gonna have to pay up through the nose for Black. It's like a cycle, dog.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair to say. But as you can say, there's obviously capacity restraints, so you have to outsource and
100%.
find other things, right? So
100%.
what is that telling me? That cloud is going to continuously grow year after year.
I definitely don't disagree
So
with that.
it's really good. Azure, AWS, Google, they're going to be really, really good companies for the future.
All right, I'm promoting this guy. I've got no affiliation with him. I've never met the guy. I've never spoken to the guy, but he's a quality watch, okay? His name is Nate B. Jones. I have him on TikTok. I think I've shown him you guys in the past. You guys told me he also has a YouTube channel. I've personally never seen it, but this guy spits hot fire. Dylon ain't got nothing on him. Shout out to Nate B. Jones. I literally get 99% of my information from him. The videos are long. They're 5, 6, 7, even longer. So they're not quick watches, but he's a hell of a source to have, and he gives you the real deal. I do like this guy, for real though. Okay, let's talk about Sarepta Therapeutics. It surges on a strategic restructuring news. So SRPT, I think SRPT is the ticker. They unveiled a strategic restructuring aimed at long-term profitability. It included a 36%, sadly, workforce reduction to reorganize that money into R&D, into the R&D pipeline. It's expected to generate, this restructuring, about $400 million in annual cost savings and about $100 million realized by the end of this year. Starting in 26, though, the annual SG&A and the R&D expenses are going to be reduced about $800 to $900 million. That's not small. And the CEO there, Doug Ingram, emphasized the need to act decisively amid external pressures. The restructuring is intended to kind of keep them patient-focused and financially strong. It's centered on a high-value rare disease program and operational discipline, so not a bad look here for SRPT. What does he talk about, Manny? He talks about AI, brother. Almost exclusively everything he talks about is AI. So that's why I wanted to mention him, because a lot of the information that I get is from there. And I want to get to that in a second as well, because he was the one giving inside information. Well, I don't want to say inside information. It's not inside. It's publicly known. But giving information into the relationship between OpenAI and Microsoft and how it's slowly degrading, right? So that's something you can obviously use in your trading strategy, however you want to employ it. Let's go on here to one of the last ones I've got here, which is Quantum. Rigetti had a fantastic day yesterday. I don't know where it's at today. There was a reason. It achieved a 99.5% 2-qubit gate fidelity on its 36-qubit modular system. I have no idea what any of that means, but that's not really the point.
That's literally what I said yesterday when I was there.
I don't know what it means, bro.
I have zero idea.
I just don't know what it means, Joey. Anyway, the performance doubles its previous best on the 84-qubit Anka 3 chip. They're launching a 36-qubit system on August 15th with the 100-qubit system planned for a launch, that is, by the end of this year. Alliance Global raises price target on Rigetti from 16 to 18, citing strong scalability. So it's a good look for Quantum here, Joey. I'm not going to keep going on with this technical stuff, but any comments on Quantum?
I mean, we've seen it off the news yesterday, right in the pre-market as well, too, is when it really started to fire up. And then you just get on from $12 all the way to $17. So that's a big-time move in an intraday session. So I'm not surprised that it's cooled off 35% to be exact. And then now we've essentially done nothing throughout the session. A nice climb higher, but we do reject some of these highs. So just keep an eye out for this, just in case this support level does crack. You want to look for that next possible level, but the quantum space definitely heating up once again here. And Bitcoin, sorry to kind of go off topic, but Bitcoin's starting to pick up a little bit of steam here as well too.
Here we go again. Adara's reactions are at the desk are so good.
Not market related, and but also not political. So apparently, I guess people were concerned that Trump had some bruising in his hands, and so now Caroline Levitt is reading his full doctor's note, I guess at Trump's request. And apparently, some of his issues with his hand, and I didn't hear all of this, so I apologize for paraphrasing, had to do with him doing frequent handshaking. So,
have you seen his handshake, Adara? He pulls you in,
well, maybe
bro.
that's why.
He like pulls you in. He's like, I'm
will,
Donald Trump.
Maybe he's going to request less handshake. I don't know, but either way, all jokes aside, I've never heard that before.
Don't go yet. Did you see where he wants Jasmine Crockett and AOC to take an IQ test, and then he says that he took the IQ test? That was so good.
I think I might have seen that.
You gotta pull that one up.
To take it.
You gotta pull that
I also
one
want
up.
to add here, Caroline Levitt is now taking questions.
Thank you, Adira. All right, we're having good times, guys. Joey, you were talking about quantum. I do apologize.
Yeah, no. I mentioned it before. 35% on yesterday's session, cooling off a little bit today, and some key levels right around that 1650 level, we'll call it.
Sir.
If it does crack the VWAP here, you maybe will look for some more downside, and you look for that next level there.
All right, let's talk about MP Materials because they're still, well, they're not at high day, but very close to high day. MP having another very good day, 4% today, likely as a result of that China headline or that headline from Donald Trump, almost 100% tariffs, almost 90-something% tariffs on battery material being imported from China into the United States. So these local producers, extractors, refiners likely will catch a bid. Keep your eye on that. Adair gave you Piedmont. I'm telling you about MP. They're both up. Let's talk about MP because that has a bit of a different headline. They announced an upsized, underwritten public offering of about 11.8 million shares at $55 a pop. The gross proceeds are total about $650 million before the underwriting discounts and expenses. The underwriters also granted a 30-day option to purchase an additional 1.77 million shares to cover the over allotments. But as Adara brought to my attention this morning, when I say upsized, offering for $650 million. That's because the initial one was for $500. Adara's got more news.
Caroline Levitt is being asked here about these crypto bills. She said apparently the president is already planning a signing ceremony for tomorrow. So I guess they are very much assuming that these are going to be passed. She said that right now Congress should currently be voting on these bills right now. I was listening to that before Caroline Levitt began speaking, but it's just been a lot of filibustering. Every 2 seconds, someone comes up and speaks, then someone else comes up and speaks. So there's really been no progress in voting as far as I can tell. But either way, Caroline Levitt expects that to be in the president's desk tonight. And apparently they're already planning a ceremony for tomorrow. She also said that the White House is receptive to making crypto payments easier, and apparently they already know they have enough votes to pass the Genius Act. So it's a matter of time. Keep an eye on these crypto-related stocks. Here is CRCL, which is specifically related to stablecoins, which of course are the focus of the Genius Act. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. So the use of the proceeds, we'll just finish this MP headline, which is not a big deal, guys, but kind of more relevant now that MP's pumping. The funds, the $650 million they're raising, what are they going to use it for? They're going to use it to support the expansion and the acceleration of our operations, especially that 10X facility. Where do we hear about that 10X facility? Oh, that's right, the Apple headline that we got earlier in the week. The proceeds are also earmarked for strategic growth initiatives and general corporate purposes. I love how they use this general corporate purposes. Didn't GameStop say that for the money that they raised there, that they weaseled into Bitcoin? I love when they use these euphemisms. The offering, Joey, is scheduled to close July 18th, pending typical closing conditions.
I think it's a great strategical move for Apple there. I think it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Obviously increased margins,
Yeah.
et cetera. So yeah, that's a really, really good look there. MP Materials, we'll pull it up here.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad.
No. I mean, from an intraday, I think this is when the news broke.
News,
Yeah. Boom,
exactly.
boom, boom, right? And you do give a bit of that move back, but you can see some of these resistance levels acting as support. So that's something positive as you break through. And then you have an additional move higher today. You definitely, at this pace, I think we will break that 63 and probably continue higher. We got some super chats here, though, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Bob the Dog. I don't think I'm going to read that one, but thank you for very much on.
What do you say?
For that $2 super chat. Canadian, too, so I like to see that. The good old snow peso. Yeah, the good old snow peso there. Really
boy.
well. And then we got Ryan.
Bob, you animal.
Yeah.
I like you, Bob.
Yeah, we love you, Bob.
I'm just not shaking your hand, Bob.
Oh, my days. Crazy, mate. Gutted.
I like you, Bob.
Guys,
I like you.
Yeah, days. All right, guys. Random. Okay, we got another one. Sorry, Ryan. NOLA. I'm assuming, is that New Orleans? Maybe I don't know. AMD buying party started this time yesterday at JDog. I'm sure I'm JDog. Call walls everywhere for the next week's options. Next week launch / melt up. I'm thinking. Let's take a look at that for you. see what you're looking at. Give me some specific strike prices too. But if I have the ability to identify some, then I'll just say like, yeah, you're right. But you're talking about next week's expiration cycle. We do have at 160, 29,000 open contracts. Let me pull up AMD here real quick before we hop right back in. And where was the high? 162.38. But it's nothing substantial. Let's go to that next expiration. Why does it only give me until August 15th? That's weird. It should have some weeklies, but I'm not seeing anything for next week. Maybe it's just an error there. I only have this week's expiration cycle and not next week's, which is slightly odd. But anyways, yeah, 160, 29,000 open contracts. That is going to be pretty much larger than anything other than the 140s, which I'm assuming people own for a long period of time, considering how in the money they are and the size that's there. So come this week, they'll just probably start closing those off. So you'll see that size start to cool, all right? And then we have random sandals, 50 SEK, SEK. Guys, quantum computers are probabilistic, not deterministic. Fidelity is the probability that the qubit system is correct. Okay.
Yeah, so he's obviously coming at it from a very technical sense.
Yeah,
it's beyond my obviously understanding. We can do more research on it. But look, what I'm taking from your point is it's not ready, it's not perfect, and you know, there's more work to do. That's fine. I mean, I don't think we're investing for its use tomorrow, but you know how this thing is, man. I mean, you want to get in on the ground floor. So I think the question you have to ask yourself at this point, if you're going to invest in quantum, is do you see a viable pathway for this kind of scalability that we have in current computers? If you do, then you invest in it, right? The only thing is, I mean, do you invest in an ETF or do you put your money in different names and try to pick winners? Or you can diversify your money as well. Personally, with something that I don't understand at all, which is quantum computing, I throw my money into an ETF because they hire money managers, they hire technical guys, all who do the advising. Sure, do they have some incentive to sway money here or there? Probably, but at the end of the day, you probably get a better bet. That's just my opinion for something that I don't understand too much about. I don't know how you'd pursue the quantum investment, Joey. Are you throwing your money at a company trying to pick winners? Are you throwing money at ETFs? Or are you not throwing any money at quantum at all?
I think it'd be slightly ignorant of me to kind of not take it. I was thinking about this the other day, to be exact, actually. Kind of the robotics and quantum. We're still in the early stages of this. We know what Jensen's had to say about it. We're still about 5 to 10 years away from it being legitimate. But I think now would be the time because you never know what can happen and who can become a leader. But again, I wouldn't be throwing 30, 40, 50, 60% of my portfolio. That's something that isn't really established.
No, certainly not.
A lot of these names aren't even really turning a profit just yet anyway. So,
to be expected, though.
Right?
I mean, we're such a nascent
So you have to be extremely forward looking on it, right? So again, $1,000, that's not going to hurt anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do this one first. Shout out Stress Relief 9X, $5 super chat. Thank you very much, my man. Think y'all can check out KTOS chart, all-time highs and climbing. Absolutely. I'm going to do that for you super quick. The ticker is KTOS. For anybody who wants to know, let's have a gander at this. Oh, baby. Let's start with that daily first, find out what this does. Kratos Defense and Security. That's going on my watch list over here under defense immediately. Do I have it? I do have it already. So I did have it already. All right, this is a fantastic looking chart, man. There's really nothing for me to say other than this is making higher highs and higher lows. We're above, I believe we're all-time highs. Let me throw it to the monthly over here because we're still continuing to go. So this is all-time highs with this company having gone public back in 2008. There's an obvious double top at 35 as it was the mother of all rounded bottoms. But there we are. Like, there's really nothing to say other than this is a fantastic look. I don't even know exactly what they do, whether they're drone related, anything like that, but it's been a great look here on the daily. KTOS. Dara, okay, no problem. So Joey, it is now 2 o'clock and after. Do you have any comments about KTOS over here, other than it's a great looking chart?
Yeah, it's looking really good there from a daily standpoint.
There's really nothing.
You can't really complain about that.
And you got to say it fits the narrative right now with everybody rearming and the world becoming a multipolar world and this, that, and the other. We know what's going on, right? Like
with no borders.
All right, it is 2 o'clock. We're not going to send you the
Bitcoin's
Bitcoiners.
moving pretty good as well too right now.
Fantastic. Yeah, good to know. We're going to send you to Adara. She's got news, and then we're sending you to the boys. See you guys later.
What a day it's been, guys. I have a couple of tickers for you to look at as we send you over to Obi and Neil for what should be an exciting afternoon of trading. Rumble on watch. Company CEO Chris Pavlovsky posting on X that Rumble is in the process of putting together and hiring a super elite machine learning and AI team. So good look here for RUM. Let's also take a look at LAC.